shape our future. We came to feel the new dawn.
Friendly reindeer, inbound. Well done, brother. I'll see you in the new year.
You're watching TBPN. Today is Thursday, December 18th, 2025. We are live from the TBPN Ultra Dome, the Temple of Technology, the Fortress of Finance, the capital. Ramp.com, time is money, save both. Easy to use corporate cards, bill pay, accounting, a whole lot more all in one place. We got a video here that it has been promised to me. I saved this for the show, so this reaction, I haven't seen the video, but I've seen the metrics around the video. It's got 15,000 likes just on a quote tweet of it. I think it's going to be very funny. Tyler was saying, you got to watch this, so we're going to pull this up. Pegasus quote tweeting, it says, this is OpenAI showing the public its financials once it goes public. Okay, looks pretty good. Getting a haircut, looks good. Oh no. You know, I've been watching these haircut videos, and they're actually incredibly good content because I saw one. I mean, obviously that one's very silly, but
dude, this video going viral. Yeah. This guy's going to be full Giga Chad mode within 6 months.
I guarantee it.
Guarantee it.
Guarantee it.
But he just did that. He knew what was going to happen. He did it to inspire himself to, I guess, look max.
For sure.
To start button smashing.
I looked at a haircut video where, and it's incredibly sticky content because you're watching the guy describe what he wants, and then at the very end they show you a montage of the photos. And when it works out, obviously the joke there is that it's a downgrade. But when it works out, it's really satisfying. The payoff comes right at the end, which of course is great for retention and average view duration. And so it's a growing format. It does make me wonder, like, there are certain. Like, can every different vertical, can every different type of content become, high retention, or are there some things that are just like more naturally like payoff based, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, let me tell you about Adio, the AI native CRM. Adio builds, scales, and grows your company to the next level. We are in Arena Mag. This is breaking news. The latest edition of Arena. We had
three martini lunch.
This is issue number 6, Q4 2025. 3 martini lunch, and we are in here with a wonderful spread. Oh, there's a bunch of great people in here. Look at this. We got Daniel in here. I don't know if he's doxed in this photo, actually.
The growing one?
I think so, but there's a profile on some Archer stuff, some VTOL stuff.
Very nice.
We got California Forever in here.
Apparently, we are having a YouTube issue, folks.
Oh, yeah.
You'll have to refresh the app if you want to avoid any type of lag.
Okay. Oh, they did a profile on, or a review of Dwarkesh Patel's The Scaling Era, whoa. What is going on here? The Christmas spirit.
A little wild.
That camera had one too many eggnogs. Tyler also has the Scaling Era, an oral history of AI, 2019 to 2025 by Dwarkesh Patel. There's a whole review of the book. And then, of course, you get the beautiful TBPN spread. Look at this.
There you go.
Isn't that great? I like that they kind of brought their own aesthetic on top of some photos that we took here in the Ultra Dome. Very fun.
They respected they respected the brand.
Yeah, it looks great. And here's a photo of me and Jordy having breakfast, showing you what the day in the life is like. And then here's me reading the Wall Street Journal before the show starts, Life of Coogan.
Coogan mode.
Very fun. I could take you through it, but you've heard the story, and you can go subscribe to Arena Mag. You can read it online. 3 Martini Lunch. Interesting. I did want to comment on this. The art direction for the cover art. I like 3 Martini Lunch. It feels like a pretty big departure from the previous I feel like their previous covers were very collage based. So this is like a much more simple design. Still very
At the same
cool.
time, it's still very nostalgic. Right?
Yes. I mean, look at the back.
To a different.
Yeah. The back says the business
Very
of America
American.
is business, and it has a pager. That's something we haven't gotten into. A cigarette and an ashtray, and a Casio watch, which is pretty
Classic.
Pretty cool.
Classic.
Anyway,
Anyways, back on the timeline.
Public.com, investing for those that take it seriously. Multi-asset investing, trusted by millions. What's back on the
Katie Roof, one of the greatest scoop athletes of our time, a future scoop Hall of Famer, has a scoop. OpenAI.
She clearly has someone at OpenAI who's like loves her right now. Yeah. She's been on Scoop tear.
She says Scoop OpenAI could soon be worth $750 billion in a financing round. They've had early talks. Let's give it up for early talks.
We love early
We
talks.
prefer advanced talks,
Yes,
but early
yes,
talks. You gotta start somewhere.
early talks.
About raising tens of billions of dollars or even $100 billion. The company was last valued at $500 billion a few months ago. Tae Kim chimes in, says public markets are crushing OpenAI exposed stocks, while private investors with visibility into OpenAI's metrics and internal numbers
Are piling in, essentially. is what
both
I'm saying
can't
here.
be right.
I trust Katie Roof reporting. So he's saying that it's bullish for OpenAI. That's his take from this. That's what.
Yeah, maybe some of the publics have been oversold. That said, yeah, I'll be interested to see how this round comes together. Again, remember, I think it's a good time to be fundraising if you need tens of billions of dollars. If this, if Warner Brothers ends up going with Netflix, right? Because like. That was just like a huge,
because,
like,
yeah,
if you're
Apple
raising
sync.
tens of billions of dollars,
Yeah.
and you're not doing it from strategics like the hyperscalers, it pretty much has to be sovereign wealth funds.
Yeah,
Right?
and potentially like they're like if they pass on Warner Brothers, they have loose change in the couch cushions to toss OpenAI's way, and
They can collect.
to the tune of $10 billion checks potentially. But I mean, it does feel like OpenAI is at a bit of a. It feels like the vibes around OpenAI, trough of disillusionment, potentially going into plateau of productivity. It feels like they're turning it around. It feels like the new models and the products.
I don't know. I haven't seen many people say I love 5.2, but then again, outside in the real world, clearly, ask people what AI app they're using. And
Yeah.
that'll give you a lot of signal.
It just feels like okay, maybe we're not in Baja Blast territory, but we know that every code red is followed by an equal
adult mode
adult mode.
is coming in January.
Yeah, maybe. But it does seem like a lot of the negativity has kind of worked its way through. The market's traded down. There's maybe not another it feels like we're finding a bottom. Or like we're finding like the footing of like, okay, reset the narratives, rebuild back up. Like, can they catch up in this? Can they catch up in that? If you see a couple good charts, couple growth charts, then you're sort of back in business because.
And again, I
people
still
got
think
so
I still
negative.
think the Disney
People still
deal.
got so negative as the point that I'm making is like a couple months ago it was like it's Enron, it's going to blow up, it's a zero, it's not going to work at all. And it does feel like we're turning the corner on that.
Maybe you
a little bit.
muted the people that are still saying that because they're still saying it.
They're still saying it. Yeah. Well, it just got old.
This was a funny post.
Yeah.
Sam says, "Sell me this pen." Jensen says, "I'll lend you the money to buy it." Of course, Jensen is investing money.
Yeah.
But
That's great.
anyways, a very good.
Let me tell you
very
about
good bit.
Linear. Meet the system for modern software development. Streamline linear streamlines work across the entire development cycle from roadmap to release. Warner CEO David Zaslav and Netflix co-CEOs Greg Peters and Ted Sarandos on the Warner Brothers lot. They took game day photo. They went out deliberately to just strut and just flex, and they clearly knew what they were doing. Hey.
Well, this is their new lot.
You point, you look over here. Guys, can we look over this direction? Okay, yeah, that's perfect. Snap. Okay, yeah, they know what they're doing. This looks like no hostile offer can get between us. We're bros. We're hanging out. This is a sign of strength.
Sun's out. There's palm trees.
Yeah, this is them sending the signal, sending a signal. Hey, we're excited to work together. We're excited to be in partnership, collaborating. There was one person who quoted this and was unhappy about it. Where is
They were saying that they weren't well dressed.
Yeah, they were saying that they weren't well dressed, and he was like, "I'm kind of in that boat." It's not
They
that.
threw on a blaze. They threw on they're
Yeah.
rocking blazers.
It's
Give them a
definitely
break.
like a Hollywood executive style that's sort of like become the norm. Maybe we go back to the 3 martini lunches, guys. Maybe we throw on suits now that you guys are in business.
But this is also a good way for people that are maybe more on the tech side
Sure.
to start dressing up. You don't have to go from jeans straight into a suit. You can throw on a blazer, right? Something to consider.
Yeah.
Matt Levine is back.
Yeah.
He says, I've missed Christmas, even New Year's, and the 4th of July holidays for newsletters a lot smaller than this. This is as good as it gets for newsletter writers. And we can jump into the article. He says, Warner doesn't trust Paramount. Revocable trust, ESG side letters, IPO lockups, destiny of doing deals over the holidays. Trust. If you're a normal person, most of your wealth is probably in your own name. But if you're one of the richest people in the world, you probably have a lot more complicated estate and tax planning, which probably means that a lot of your wealth is in trusts, legal arrangements that your lawyers set up to hold assets for you. Most simply, you might have a revocable trust where your assets technically belong to the trust, but you have control over the trust assets, investment decisions, beneficiaries, etc. This can be useful for estate planning, but for most purposes, owning assets in a revocable trust is pretty much like owning them yourself. I regularly say that Mark Zuckerberg owns a lot of shares of Meta, or that Elon owns a lot of shares of Tesla, even though neither statement is exactly true. Their trusts own the shares, but for most practical purposes you can think of, they own them. This creates, I suppose, a small dumb problem. Let's say you build big yachts and Mark Zuckerberg comes to you and asks to buy a $1 billion yacht. Naturally, he will pay you the $1 billion on completion of the yacht. You might ask him, well, do you have $1 billion? And he might say, no, actually, I don't, but the Mark Zuckerberg Trust owns like $1 bajillion worth of Meta stock, and I control that, so I'm good. You find that persuasive, so you pull up the yacht sale contract. Who do you put in as the buyer? If you put Mark Zuckerberg, he has no money. If you put the Mark Zuckerberg Trust, it has plenty of money now. But if it is a revocable trust, he can just take all the money shares out whenever he wants. It's revocable. If he changes his mind about the yacht, he can clean out the trust. You'll send the bill to the trust, but the trust will have no money and you'll be stuck with the yacht. Not that bad of a situation to be stuck with $1 billion yacht, but
if you're in the business of selling them, you certainly want to be able to complete the transaction.
I get the point.
This is very interesting.
Honestly, this is a pretty easy problem to solve. You put Mark Zuckerberg in the contract. He doesn't own the assets directly, but he controls the trust. So if he owes you $1 billion, you can make him take it out of the trust. But maybe you'll get confused, or he'll get confused, and you'll end up signing a contract with the trust. Then if he changes his mind, he can zero out the trust and stiff you. I cannot imagine that this comes up a lot with yacht builders or anyone else. Elon Musk once did sign a contract to buy Twitter for $44 billion, then changed his mind and tried to get out of it. The fact that his wealth is mostly in a trust did not, at any stage of the proceedings, trouble anyone. He had signed his equity commitment in his own name, and everyone understood that if he was sued and lost, he'd have to pay with his trust money if necessary. And Twitter did sue him, and he did pay. Fine. On the other hand, Paramount is trying to buy Warner Brothers Discovery, breaking up Warner's deal to sell itself to Netflix Inc., and Paramount does not have nearly enough money to pay for Warner. Instead, much of the money behind the bid comes from Paramount Chief Executive Officer's dad, Larry Ellison, as of this writing, the 5th richest person in the world. Or rather, it comes from his trust, and this would be one of the greatest tricks in the history of mergers and acquisitions. One major sticking point is Warner Brothers' concern about the financing proposed by Paramount, which is led by David Ellison. A big part of the equity is backstopped by a trust that manages the wealth of his father, Larry Ellison. Because it's a revocable trust, assets can be taken out of it at any time, and Warner Brothers may have no recourse if that happens, the people said. And Matt says, ha ha ha, sure. The risk here is Warner throws over Netflix, pays it a $2.8 billion breakup fee, and signs a deal to sell itself to Paramount for something like $108.4 billion in cash. For some reason, changing market conditions, regulatory difficulties, and a change of heart by the Ellisons, or a change of heart by their co-investors, the Ellisons decide they don't want to close the deal. Quietly, in the comfort of his own home, without saying anything to Warner, Larry Ellison takes all of his stock out of the trust, leaving it empty. Yoink, he whispers to himself. Oops, never mind, Paramount tells Warner. Warner sues Paramount for specific performance, seeking to make it pay $108.4 billion and close the deal. LOL, we don't have that kind of money, says Paramount, which has a market capitalization of about $15 billion and about $3 billion of cash. When we signed the deal, you knew that the money was coming from the Ellison Trust. So Warner sues the Ellison Trust for specific performance, seeking to make it pay $108 billion and close the deal. LOL, we don't have that kind of money, says the Ellison Trust. We did, sure, but the trust got revoked. Yoink, adds Larry Ellison more loudly this time. So Warner sues Larry Ellison for the money. He says, who, me? Says Larry Ellison. You have no deal with me. I didn't even know what you're talking about. This is not my problem. This does not strike me as especially likely, and it would obviously be bad for Paramount and the Ellisons, but I suppose it is possible, and it would be a pretty fun trick. Yeah. I talked about this a little bit yesterday on the show, this kind of situation. Today, Warner officially rejected Paramount's bid, advising shareholders not to sell their shares in Paramount's tender offer. Here is how Warner describes Larry Ellison's commitment or lack thereof. And this was the exact quote that I read yesterday, which was, despite Paramount's headline claims, there is no equity commitment or backstop from the Ellison family for the offer. And I'll skip over the rest of that quote, but Matt continues, as far as I can tell, and somewhat bafflingly, this is correct. Paramount's own tender offer says that the Ellison equity commitment and guarantee will be from the Lawrence Ellison Revocable Trust, not from Larry Ellison himself. The offer points out that the trust is rich. The Ellison Trust has financial resources well in excess of what would be required to meet its financial obligations under the equity commitment letter, including many other assets and financial resources available to it, record and beneficial ownership of approximately 1.16 billion shares of Oracle stock with a market value of approximately $252 billion as of the date of this offer to purchase. But as the name says, it's revocable. This seems extremely fixable. Have Larry Ellison sign the commitments personally? Yep. William Cohan reports that the whole situation is trains passing in the night and, quote, the Ellisons believe they can still be sued for specific performance to fund the deal. He quotes a person familiar with their thinking, saying that there is no financing condition in the deal, and Paramount and the Ellison/Redbird, along with our lenders, are legally obligated to close regardless of future financial or business performance at Paramount. That is not an impossible thought to convey in merger papers, and yet so far they apparently haven't. And then, do you want to read?
Hack, I mean, the ESG side, there's a different story, I'm sure. I don't think it has anything to do with the...
Oh, okay.
Matt Levine writes like multiple little blurbs. But the real trick is obviously create a revocable trust and name it the irrevocable trust. Can you just do that?
One simple trick.
One simple trick.
M&A lawyers hate this one simple trick.
Yeah, I am wondering, like, if this is very common.
Yeah.
I mean, Matt Levine talks about this, but like, why did Elon not do this during the Twitter buyout?
That is a good question.
Because it says Elon did sign the contract in his
own name,
which he could have just done to the trust, and then he could have backed out when he wanted to.
Well, I mean, one thing is like it feels like Elon like just rips checks and was very much just like, yeah, I'm good for it. I'm going for it. I don't want to play this game at all, like because I'm all in. You have the full faith and credit of the bank of Elon Musk, essentially.
Yeah, I mean, also, do we even know that like this is like legally feasible, that you can just revoke the trust? Like, is that just like 100% totally fine? Has that happened before?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know if it. I actually don't know if it's happened before. But it certainly seems like something that you are going to like. We talked about with like that when you make an offer for a big company, there's like the expected value of the close, and saying, hey, we have this backstop is something that increases the probability that you close, that the financing condition is met. But then saying, okay, we're doing it in a trust or a revocable trust takes that down a little bit. But again, there's a world where all of the different capital providers lined up, and you're not even talking about trust, revocable or irrevocable, because you never get there because all the different funds are saying, are jumping. I want to get in. I have to get my stake. I want 10% of this. Here's 10 billion. I'm ready to go. And so you don't even care about the backstop, or you don't care about the trust because everyone's lining up. The only reason that maybe they're in this scenario is because it feels like Warner Brothers did actually sort of kick the tires on the Paramount deal and get to the end state of evaluating it and saying, oh, well, like, we've heard, you mentioned Jared Kushner's in, like, is Affinity Partners really in? And when they push them, Affinity Partners, it seems like they might be out. I don't know exactly what happened. But there's a variety of stakeholders that came in. And the level of, it's not just that they were thumbs up, thumbs down. There were some that people said that they were thumbs up, they wound up being thumbs down. Some of them were, here, and they wound up being there, a little bit edgy, depending on a lot of different folks, where it's like, it's like putting together any other financing round. Like, ideally, every investor that goes into a seed stage company or a Series A company is like, yes, I'm good regardless of who else is in the round. Every once in a while, you get VCs who say, yeah, I'll sign a term sheet, but term sheets are non-binding, and we'll see how the round pencils out. I'll sit on this signature. I'm not going to sign this. I'm not going to wire.
Or they would give a verbal and thinking that Sequoia is going to come in. Yep. Sequoia doesn't, and then they're like, oh, yeah.
Or vice versa.
Yeah.
They give the verbal. They sit on it. They're not wiring. They're maybe leaning back, and then Sequoia comes in, or Founders Fund, or Andreessen, or someone comes in, and then they're like, wait, you said that I could get 2% of this company for $100K. Like, well, like, give me my terms. And you're like, you didn't sign that doc. You were very much leaning out. I've been in that situation. It's never super fun conversation. But
yep.
It ain't over till the
one
bank.
A little bit more from Matt Levine. He's talking about lockups, specifically SpaceX. We all know they're trying to go public at a $1.5 trillion valuation. Mm-hmm. They want to raise $30 billion of stock. $30 billion via the IPO. Mm-hmm. And Matt says the raise is not that big relative to the valuation. But then he says the problem is not the $30 billion. The problem is the other $1.47 trillion. And he goes on to say, what happens if $500 billion of SpaceX stock is unlocked, like, at a single moment, and mm-hmm. people are like, well, I've been locked up I have had limited liquidity for, let's say you're an employee who's been there 10, 15 years. You're like, there could be a kind of a rush to get liquidity. And so he goes on to say that in the conversations that Wall Street has been having with SpaceX, Anthropic, and OpenAI, there is some conversations that would create a scenario with I'll just read it specifically. Investment bankers are starting to prepare, discussing proposed solutions to help win deals. At least two large banks largely ruled out a standard IPO lockup period of either 90 to 180 days and are discussing how to design a staggered lockup release for companies like the ones I mentioned. And then he says, if you're a shareholder of a $1 trillion private company, you're used to getting limited periodic liquidity events where you can sell shares. Why would that change when the company goes public? So pretty interesting.
The dance of taking SpaceX public. It's going to be an interesting year for IPOs. There's a bunch of great companies that are finally mature enough to potentially go out. Let me tell you about Vanta. Automate compliance and security. Vanta's AI powers everything from evidence collection and continuous monitoring to security reviews and vendor risk. There's an article in the Wall Street Journal about a massive IPO. Wall Street gets early taste of hot year expected for IPOs. Shares of a company called Medline began trading in the biggest new stock listing since 2021. Wall Street is getting a glimpse of what could be the biggest year ever for IPOs in the U.S. after 4 years of choppiness in the market. You didn't even let me get to the number. The medical supply company raised $6.3 billion in its stock offering. The stock closed at $41 a share. That's up 41% from its $29 IPO price. So massive offering. It's the biggest IPO since Rivian, actually, in 2021. And the ticker is MDLN. We're the largest company no one's ever heard of, said the chief executive, Jim Boyle. He said he and his team have spent the past year and a half educating the investment community ahead of the stock offering. You got to tell everyone, what do you do before you ask for their money? Because if you've been operating behind the scenes, no one's going to know to invest or be excited. So the offering could help set the stage for some of the most highly anticipated IPOs with rocket maker SpaceX, AI company Anthropic, and mortgage giants Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac among the companies looking at listings in 2026. OpenAI also rumored. There's a couple other companies that might go out. It isn't just
well. There's a bunch of
profile.
tech. There's a bunch of tech darlings that are look kind of like infants in comparison to
but still might be at
still
a level
could be
of maturity to go out.
very notable.
Yeah,
like companies that are
Databricks.
basically at Figma scale.
Sure, yeah, or even beyond. But yeah, I mean, for a long time, if you're a $10 billion company in the tens of billions, the decacorns, any decacorn should be comfortable going out, potentially, as long as they're not in some crazy R&D cycle and they actually have the core financials humming at this point. Bankers say their teams have been busy in recent weeks pitching companies to be lead advisor on their IPOs, marking a pickup in activity. Many startups had eschewed going public in recent years. I'm not sure that's entirely true anymore, said Magdalena Henrich, head of U.S. Technology Equity Capital Markets at Bank of America. Bankers are hoping Medline, which is backed by Blackstone, Carlyle, and Hellman Friedman, helps to close out a positive year for IPOs. Well, speaking of Blackstone, we have a little Christmas present under the tree.
Why don't we open it?
What do we have from Blackstone? The good folks over at Blackstone sent us a present. And we will open it live on the stream here. So, have you heard that the CEO of Blackstone, Steve Schwartzman, is becoming a DJ? Goldman Sachs CEO David Solomon gave him a stamp of approval, and they sent over this very cool tape recorder. I don't know if this is a real tape recorder. I don't know if I have this queued up, but you can maybe hear it. Let's see.
Now $1 trillion under management. We look for market mega trends as the life sciences get ahead of AI. Always know.
They went like super viral for this because they made a entire they basically clowned every startup vibe reel. Oh, you have a cinematic vibe reel? We had our whole team sing a jingle and filmed it and
send
put
it out
on
on
TV.
a physical.
And then they sent it out on a physical thing. This is very, very cool. Portable cassette.
Is that made to look like a cassette tape?
I think it's
not actually.
No, I think it's actually a
No
cassette. Yeah,
way.
this
They
is
said-
crazy. Wow.
I didn't even know we knew how to make cassettes.
This is a very, very good drop. Like just as a drop, it's hilarious. It also feels like them leaning in because I know that the response to that Blackstone video was not overwhelmingly positive. People are like, "What is this?" But clearly, it's an inside joke, and like the team finds it funny, and they were doing it tongue in cheek, and they were having fun with it. And they have a lot of 1980s throwback cameos there.
That's great.
Anyway, thank you to good folks over at Blackstone for sending over this. And go listen to the full song and watch the video if you haven't already. Numeral, compliance, handled. Numeral, worries about sales tax and VAT compliance so you can focus on growth. In our newsletter today, we did a little review of the Model Wars. Of course, our newsletter, you can get it at tbpn.com. Tech analysis and news. We have a daily op-ed, top headlines, and more. Sign up at tbpn.com. So what a year. Just in terms of model releases, August 7th, OpenAI releases GPT-5. September 29th, Anthropic releases Claude Sonnet 4.5. Then the day after, OpenAI releases Sora 2. September, the same day, Meta releases the Meta Ray-Bans displays. November 3rd, OpenAI and Amazon announce a partnership valued at $38 billion. November 12th, 5.1 drops from OpenAI.
Yep.
November 17th, xAI releases Grok 4.1. November 18th, Google releases Gemini 3. Massive response to that. It's crazy that that was just 1 month ago. November 20th, Nano Banana Pro comes out. Then November 24th, Anthropic releases Claude Opus 4.5. We talked to Sholto about that. And then December 1st, DeepSeek releases DeepSeek version 3.2. And of course, before the end of the year, OpenAI had to fire back with GPT 5.2 on December 11th. And then December 17th, Google releases Gemini 3 Flash.
Also today, I think OpenAI released 5.2 Codex. So like the coding model
great.
version.
They're starting to stagger them out a little bit more,
Well, I do.
which I think is smart, right?
I was wondering about this with Logan. Like, do you think that we will? Do you think there'll be a period where we get on annual release cadences, and it's just like, oh, like the model is like GPT 2026. Like I'm running the 26 model, or do you think it'll be random?
I think so,
'Cause it does feel
but
like it's,
we're not quite at the plateau where I think that would make sense. Like right now, where every company's fighting for market share,
Yeah.
and like if you can release tomorrow,
Yeah.
that's a lot better than releasing it.
But there is a
month from
world
now.
where OpenAI takes 5.1 and 5.2 and says, you know what? That's GPT 6. That's GPT 7, right? Like they could, and people would be like, whoa, this is like really incremental. So they used the 0.1, but they also didn't do its 5.0.1.
I think the reason that there's so much pressure to launch is there's pressure to be at the top of the benchmarks, right?
Sure.
In other product categories, it's not like there's like this like very specific way that you.
What are you talking about? In cars, Nürburgring.
Sure, but
The
I'm talking
ultimate
in like enterprise software. Typically,
Sure.
It's not like somebody launches a product and then somebody else launches a product, and investors can look at it and be like, well, okay, I think this one is just objectively better.
Yeah.
And so I think that, just given the goal to sit at the top of the benchmarks, there's going to be a massive.
The
amount of
benchmark
pressure.
is like ARR numbers that you might give to the press or fundraising, which traditionally done to every 12 to 18 months, but sometimes can happen 4 times in a year.
Yeah.
If you're a certain company. What do you think?
Also, I just want to say, Brandon, who wrote the piece, he said at the end, he said, it seems like the doomers, people who believe AI will turn us all into paperclips, have been defanged, which is good. I disagree that that's true. It seems like AI is like, I think there's this whole narrative where like, oh, AI is stagnating.
Yeah.
Where it's like, bro, look at the benchmarks. Like, it's on the trend.
Look at the benchmarks. They're saturating. It's incredible.
Exactly. If the benchmarks are what does that tell you if benchmarks are saturating? We don't even have good benchmarks anymore because models are way too good.
Gabe says benchmarks
Yeah.
are just as useful as a used piece of toilet paper.
Exactly. That's the whole point. If models were bad, benchmarks would be useful.
So I mean, the risk is like there was a moment where just multiplying 2 really, really big numbers together on a computer, like you needed more memory to do like 1,000 digits times 1,000 digits. Like your basic calculator had a limit, and then eventually it got to the point where you have enough RAM that this computer here can sit and I don't know, calculate the number of digits in pi to like 10,000 digits, right? Probably pretty quickly. Progress along that line is not necessarily the same line of progress towards like human labor replacement even. Like we got calculators that can calculate any math perfectly in fractions of a second. And it was useful in a million ways, but no one's calling that like AGI, ASI, it can do anything. And so
Yeah, because that's like specific intelligence.
exactly, specific intelligence. And so we've created a bunch more lanes of specific intelligence, but people feel still dissatisfied with the fact that yes, the spikes are getting longer, but it doesn't feel like the intelligence is getting any less spikier. That's what Brandon's feeling. There's nothing about the benchmarks. When you show me a new model card, I'm just like, cool, spiky. The spikes got spikier. Awesome. There's nothing where it's like, oh, okay, it's no longer spiky.
Sure. I mean, like when I use coding models, they're like way better.
Yeah,
They're
that's
so
one of
much
the
better
spikes.
than the beginning of the year.
That's one of the spikes. That's spiking
Okay, but
even
if you just
bigger.
get enough spikes, then like what's the difference between a ton of spikes and
Yes.
just like a circle, right? Like,
Yeah, this is the diagram. You've seen the diagram, right? Where
Yeah,
it's like you have the circle with the little tiny spikes where the
Also,
human's better at.
there are benchmarks that like there was the Vend. It was like Anthropic Vend, where Claude runs a vending machine.
Yeah.
In the beginning of the year, they released the first paper. I don't know when it was. It was
Yeah.
like a couple months ago. They released like the first part of the paper, and Claude was like horrible. It lost a ton of money running the vending machine. Then I think today they released a new one.
Yeah.
Where it's like Claude is profitable.
Yeah. We need to get you a massive winter coat to get through this AI winter. Because the AI winter's happening, dude. I'm telling you.
There's no AI winter.
There's it's the age of research, okay? The age of research
can you
is
imagine
the age of
it's like June next year, it's hot in the Ultradome. Tyler, just keep the coat on, buddy. You can't take it off till it's over.
Well, it's over. No, I mean, the progress
Like
is...
people want AI to stagnate so bad.
They do.
So many people want that.
They do.
And it's not happening, bro. It's like the models are getting better.
Literally, everyone without bags is saying it's stagnating.
Well,
No,
Sutton,
because all those people are
Karpathy.
like, oh, like I missed NVIDIA or whatever.
Oh, you
Now they want
think
it.
Karpathy's like, I missed NVIDIA, so I got to go trash AI?
Well, Karpathy, I think he's very excited about what AI is like right now.
Yeah.
And he's
well, I
not
think
saying-
we can all agree, Tyler, that it's the age of research, but it's also the age of deals.
Okay.
We got to
let's
talk
go.
about.
Yeah, let's go.
We got to talk about Trump media and technology. This morning, I woke up, and a lot of people that do like mental health podcasts, they say, look at your phone within 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Of opening your eyes.
Yeah.
Just immediately, connect with the internet. And just sort of start kind of marinating in all the notifications that you maybe got over the last 8 hours.
Yeah,
So that's what I did this morning. I opened my eyes. I immediately grabbed my phone. I see this push notification. I think it was from Bloomberg that Truth Social parent to merge with nuclear fusion firm in a $6 billion deal. And I thought I was dreaming still because it just seemed insane. Trump's been so active this year on the deal making side. Who would have thought he had another multi-billion-dollar deal to do this year? So of course, Trump Media and Technology Group, the social media and crypto company, part owned by President Trump, said it would develop a utility-scale fusion power plant.
Fusion, not fission.
Correct.
Okay.
President Trump's social media company, which recently expanded into streaming and cryptocurrency, is now entering its fourth act. Fusion power, a promising but still unproven source of alternative energy. DJT and TAE Technologies have said Thursday they had agreed to an all-stock merger that the company's valued at more than $6 billion. The deal would be a metamorphosis for Trump Media, the money-losing parent company of Truth Social, a social media platform that has struggled to gain market share beyond serving as the main online megaphone for President Trump. Mr. Trump is the company's largest shareholder with a large stake worth more than $1 billion that is held in a trust. We're trust maxing, of course, managed by Don Jr., who is a Trump Media board member. The company, based in Sarasota, Florida, has only a few dozen full-time employees and has recorded tens of millions of losses in recent years. The merger with TAE would create one of the first publicly traded nuclear fusion companies, according to the release. The companies said they intend to begin construction on the first utility-scale fusion power plant next year, with plans to build additional plants in the future. So the stock is up, of course, up pretty dramatically today. The CEO over at TAE, Mitchell Bendenbauer, says, "We've got the tools and the tech and the engineering. What we were lacking was the capital." So I did went over to Gemini and got a little background on TAE Technologies. Interesting company. It's the TAE stands for Tri-Alpha Energy, which is I think a pretty cool name.
It's also good advice if you're a beta. Just try being an alpha.
Or just rebrand to an alpha.
Yeah.
Actually, I used
Is that
to
what
be
it is?
beta.
Try? Or
TRI.
TRI, not TRY.
Yeah.
Not try being in it.
Try Alpha. Hey.
Try Sigma. Maybe try whatever works.
Sigma Energy
Yeah.
would be a great name for a small modular reactor company.
I mean, there's a trading firm, Two Sigma, and it's two guys.
No, but Sigma,
They're
you know,
way
it's the
too
lone
Sigma.
lone
It's like
wolf
you
archetype.
You know that they had like a founder breakup because they were literally two Sigmas.
No, because one of them was 2 Sigma.
Oh, TOO.
TOO.
No, I think the nominative determinism is that they you put two lone wolves together and it didn't work, and they were fighting constantly, and so the Two Sigma guys broke up.
Anyway, so
People are gonna talk
company
trash
was,
about this,
The
but-
company was
yeah.
founded in 1998 and has
Okay.
spent over 25 years developing a unique approach to fusion that focuses on a neutronic power energy generation that produces no harmful neutron radiation. They have raised from, I believe it's Google, Chevron, and Goldman Sachs. So
Wow. Okay.
great to see them all get some liquidity now,
Yeah.
or at least shares in a company that is liquid.
Sure. So does that mean Google is on the Truth Social cap table now?
Google owns a piece of
The president's.
I mean, I actually
social
can't
network.
confirm this. It's possible they got some liquidity along the way,
Sure.
but it seems more likely that Google has a nice slug in DJT.
Truth Social. Interesting.
Wait, I didn't even think about that because this is happening at the top co
Totally.
at DJT.
Yeah.
So they have exposure to fusion, cryptocurrency, social media, and streaming.
I mean, Google famously never got Google Circles working. Their Facebook competitor. They have YouTube, obviously, a behemoth, but in true social networking, they've struggled. Maybe this is a foothold for them.
Yeah.
Roll in the entire thing at some point. People are going to talk trash about this, like, oh, what is a social network doing, building energy assets? But you look at what Amazon's doing, building massive data centers for AWS. Amazon owns Twitch. That's a social network. It's a streaming platform. What else does Amazon own? Well, they own some diesel generators for backup power at the data centers. Fusion, theoretically cleaner. Who would have thought that out of the Silicon Valley tech people, they would be using diesel while the big guy is using clean energy to power
Yeah.
his social network? So it's something there.
Fascinating
Anyway,
stuff.
let me tell you about Fall, generative media platform for developers. Develop and fine-tune models with serverless GPUs and on-demand clusters.
Trey in the chat says this is such a weird deal. TAE is a legit company.
Maybe they're all legit. Maybe they're all going legit. Maybe it works out. I don't know. I mean,
What if-
Fusion's hard.
What if
Like,
True
we're-
Social
we're-
just
we're-
puts up monster numbers? I
I
mean,
mean,
it's kind of funny.
It's so
I mean,
hard to
it
call
really
what's
is,
legit right now.
It really is an interesting test, given that when I type Truth Social into my browser, effectively the homepage is just Donald Trump's profile, and they do have a lot of ads on here. And it'll be interesting to understand, like, what is this web page actually worth?
Well, we'll find out. I mean, Truth Social, I think if you went back in time a year or two ago when Truth Social was started, which I believe Trump was out of the office, he was not president when he started it, and you asked anyone, like, what will the terminal value of this asset be? Everyone would be like, it's not going to be over $1 billion. And then when it went out, it was like, okay, yeah, maybe they expect it, but it's going to trade down a ton. It's like, I think it's still a multi-billion-dollar company, right? DJT. What's the market cap?
$4
$4 billion still? Like that's
Well, it
that's
traded
higher than a
up.
lot of people thought.
It traded up
guarantee.
almost 40% just today. So
Yeah. Well,
interesting
we were doing a
stuff.
deep dive on the company a year ago, so
What categories-
there's alpha here.
what categories is DJT not in?
Space, pharma,
Robotics.
robotics. Oh wait, no, they're in pharma, right?
Pharma. So I think TAE does have a
biotech division?
a life sciences division.
Okay.
So I'm very bullish on them.
Yeah.
Kind of going into pharma.
Yeah, you got to go further out on the sci-fi curve. No one's pitching a time travel company yet. I think that's an interesting area to get into. What happens after you're traveling through space? You must travel through time, the fourth dimension.
I mean, you could break time travel into life sciences, right? Because you can have the you freeze yourself and you wake up in 20 years. You can't go back though.
Yeah. Dyson Sphere. No one's come out and said we're the company that's going to do the Dyson Sphere. It's been much more incremental visions. Anyway,
Truth Social is also getting into the prediction market game.
No way.
They're launching a native prediction market feature in the app.
it's crazy that they're not.
I wonder if it'll be like
anyone.
predict,
I would've
trade
pres-
on
I would've
what,
presumed
trade on the content of Trump's next post.
that would be fascinating.
Anyways, very fascinating. I mean, it's just an interesting. I am interested to see how the future presidents approach business. Right? Who was the guy with the peanut farm?
Jimmy Carter.
He got into a little hot water because of his peanut farm. I think he didn't fully divest.
No, he did divest.
But he still got in hot water.
No, it's
was
just remarkable because the peanut farm was so small and so insignificant in the U.S. economy and even in his personal balance sheet. But the fact that he was saying, look, I don't want any idea of impropriety, so I'm going to divest from a small peanut farm that I'm associated with, so that no one can say that I'm in the pocket of Big Peanut or I'm pro
Little
peanut
Peanut.
or Little Peanut. And so the fact that Jimmy Carter divested from the peanut farm, he was not in big oil or a railroad baron or associated with banking. He had very little conflict of interest, and he reduced it even further. That's always been a sign of what great looks like. And it's been a role model for some presidents. Some presidents have looked and said, well, if Jimmy Carter did it this way, I should also do it this way.
Yeah.
Anyway, Gemini 3 Pro, Google's most intelligent model yet, state-of-the-art reasoning, next-level vibe coding, and deep multimodal understanding. There is a crazy story in the...
Joe Weisenthal, by the way, one more. He says, sharing that DJT is up 35%. To a new 30-day high. And Joe says, Trump has been in founder mode for a long time, getting all kinds of criticism about the business from people who aren't actually in the arena.
It is crazy the degree to which he is a successful technology founder. Truly, billions of dollars in market cap.
People can have their issues with the president, but they cannot deny that they cannot say with a straight face that he is not a technology
He's never founded a
entrepreneur.
unicorn tech company.
He's never taken a social media app public.
You can't say that.
You can't say that. He's never
list of people that have
he's
taken
never
a-
merged with a nuclear fusion
They can't say
company backed by Chevron
You can't say
and
that, for
Google
sure.
and Goldman Sachs.
For sure. Dave, have you seen this chart, the AI investment cycle visualized? Almost $1 trillion has been invested into AI so far, and that may just be the start. Look at this graph. This is such an interesting way to visualize the flow of money, because we see it as these moments in time, a $10 billion deal here, $100 billion deal there. This is showing the investment over time, and you can see, NVIDIA flowing to Amazon and all the different companies. Where's OpenAI? OpenAI is just flowing around. It's just a cool little data visualization. I thought this was fun to look at. Anyway,
Did you see Brett Adcock has a new startup?
No.
Yeah, Figure CEO Brett Adcock launches new AI lab with $100 million in funding.
Wow.
Brett Adcock, of course, the CEO of robotics startup Figure AI, who
Yeah.
we believe might have some big news soon based on their holiday party with Deadmau5, has started a new AI lab called HARK, which will be funded by $100 million of his personal capital, according to a copy of a memo Adcock sent to Figure employees and investors on Thursday, seen by Stephanie Palazzolo. The AI lab will be focused on building human-centric AI, which can think proactively, recursively, and care deeply about people. HARK's first cluster of GPUs went online on Monday. The memo said, though it couldn't be learned how large the cluster was. Adcock will remain the CEO of Figure in addition to his new role at HARK. HARK continues the trend of AI startup CEOs founding new companies while remaining at their old one. Remember Richard over at it launched a new lab himself. More broadly, well-known researchers and executives have raised billions of dollars for so-called neolabs in recent months, which hope to exploit new approaches to developing models. Figure previously raised nearly $2 billion in funding from investors, including Parkway, NVIDIA, Microsoft, et cetera. So anyways, interesting that he is diversifying when Figure's valuation has just been going through the roof.
He also has a a company that does like metal detectors at schools, right? Something along those lines. He is a serial entrepreneur. It's a bunch of stuff. Anyway, let me tell you about Fin.ai, the #1 AI agent for customer service. Automate the most complex customer service queries on every channel. Tyler clearly has an alt. Tyler Glale. Tyler clearly put this in the show notes. Tyler, not our Tyler, but this other Tyler, says, "Can't wait for this AI bubble to pop so we can all go back to normal, just like how the internet completely disappeared after the .com bubble popped." It's another bullish take for AI. It's not going anywhere.
Yeah,
you
it's
agree?
a great take.
It is a great take. And 18,000 people agreed it's a great take. I also think it's a great take. But this doesn't seem so fast takeoff build. More internet build, which is slow takeoff. The internet had a slow takeoff. Everyone thought it was going to be the internet is the super highway. It's going to be, 1,000x growth. Yahoo's going to be worth $1 trillion. And then, kind of settled in. It took a while for things to find use cases, find value. But eventually it did transform everything. But this time it's different.
This time's different.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes.
Well, because this time we have the internet, so it's way faster to do distribution.
Yes.
I don't want to. You weren't even alive in that era, Tyler. I don't even want to. Don't.
I was racking servers in a data center while you were in the cradle. Meltem says, a lot of navel gazing about venture. There are a lot of ways to make a couple $100 million. There are a reasonable number of ways to make $1 billion. There are very few ways to make tens of billions of dollars. This makes a $1 billion fund with 10x DPI obscenely impressive. Is this a subtweet of someone in particular? Is someone saying this isn't? This isn't? So Mike Chan says, ain't no $1 billion fund doing 10x DPI. And Meltem says, several have, which is wild.
So I'm trying to find in the
That is
comments a
crazy.
fund that actually did this, and I can't think of any personally.
I'm sure they're out there. I'm sure they're out there. But I don't know. It's all of that's impressive. I don't
Okay,
know
more importantly,
Yes,
this
what's going on with
Chinese
this?
streamer cut the Apple Vision Pro's weight in half using a
Whoa,
helium balloon.
that's genius. This is innovation. This is crazy innovation. Wow.
Imagine walking into an office and every person there is just locked in with a balloon.
This is somehow more cyberpunk than just the default, put the big screen on your face. I like this.
And people say the Chinese can only copy and they can't invent new stuff.
That's not true.
Not true.
like-
Completely disproven with this Vision Pro helium balloon.
This would be.
Genius.
So imagine just
I
being
wonder
able to
how it-
imagine if you're a class
Yeah,
clown
yeah.
coded, which I certainly am. Imagine walking around the office and just with a little needle.
No. I think
Because it doesn't actually. It's not going to hurt them. It's still
yeah.
strapped to their head.
But you're popping their balloon, then they have to go get more helium, and helium is a
mean-
scarce resource.
True. But
So
I
rough.
would hope they look. He's got a big canister there. He's got plenty. He's got a big.
You should not be popping this, and you know why? Because Ty in the chat says this should be a blimp, and this is very blimp coded. So you should allow this.
I want this
to
guy to make a personal blimp. It's just
Yeah.
it's just like a harness you can put on with enough
Yeah.
helium to just take you up.
happen. Yeah,
I think the Mythbusters did that.
Yeah.
You just get a bunch of balloons, yeah.
and it worked.
Did they doing that and then skydiving down would be pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
You should work on that over the winter break.
Well, whatever you watch in your Apple Vision Pro, make sure it's restreamed. One live stream, 30 plus destination. If you want to multi-stream, go to restream.com. This is so funny that Alpha Ton Capital, did you see this? Alpha Ton Capital posts big news. Alpha Ton, a ton of alpha. We got a ton of alpha over here at Alpha Ton Capital. We're making a historic $30 million strategic investment in Anduril Industries, and they tag them. So we are investing in the future of defense tech and the convergence of decentralized AI with next-gen national security. This is a strategic bet on the companies of the future. This unprecedented investment positions AlphaTon at the forefront of next-generation defense technology infrastructure, marking a pivotal moment in the convergence of public markets and advanced national security capabilities, NASDAQ, ATON. And so they're trying to become an Anduril like holdco basically, or
Treasury company.
Treasury company. And Palmer just quote tweets them into the stratosphere by saying, AlphaTon is lying. This is not true. Public heads up to CEO Brittany Kaiser / Own Your Data Now, the whistleblower who is Bitcoin, Alpha Ton Capital. That's the, I guess that's the owner of this. You do not have permission to use my trademarks to defraud your investors. And Brittany says, hey, Palmer, we signed an agreement to purchase economic exposure to Anduril shares through an SPV and to accumulate more exposure over time and offer access via formal secondaries product. Given our network's demand for your innovative tech, I will issue a clarification. And Palmer says, that isn't what you and your company said, though. To be extremely clear, Anduril has to authorize these types of transfers, and I will not authorize it. Wow. And Sarah Guo is there saying, so much nonsense, fraud happening in these layered SPVs. This is such a crazy, crazy moment.
What is the history of this company? So the company went out at $280 per share in December of 2020. It's now sitting at exactly 69 cents.
Huh.
So I wonder what they have been up to.
Yeah.
But yeah, that I mean, that was a crazy. Now it looks like somebody, like this looks like an AI bot is just like posting, but this is a public company.
It does look like just some sort of like complete slop scam. Like you would assume that if you go down this particular funnel, you wind up at like, hey, send me some random crypto or something. Like it feels very scammy, and Palmer is sort of calling it a scam, but it is a public company, I guess.
I'm sure Anduril's legal counsel will really enjoy
having a nice, calm holiday weekend, I'm sure, while they clean this mess up, one of many.
Yeah.
But
okay,
it's a champagne problem.
Let's
come back to this later because we have our guests in the Restream waiting room. While we're bringing them in, let me tell you about Cognition, the team behind the AI software engineer, Devin. Crush your backlog with a personal AI engineering team. Merry Christmas to everyone. We have Brian Armstrong from Coinbase, and Tarek is back on the show. So many repeat guests. It's so great to see both of you. Congratulations on all of the fantastic success. Brian, would you mind kicking us off with a little high-level overview of the news? Good to see you.
Yeah, sure. Good to see you guys again. Well, we had a great product event yesterday in San Francisco. We announced the Everything Exchange. So we've got stock trading on there. We've got prediction markets. We've got millions of tokens now trading through decentralized exchanges. We've got simple derivatives. Like we announced a ton of stuff yesterday. And one of the big ones was prediction markets, which we're happy to partner with Kalshi on. We love Kalshi. They've been awesome to work with.
That's great.
And prediction markets are huge. They're an important asset class for people who are trading them, but it's also a way for people to get information about what's going to happen in the world. So it's kind of an alternative to traditional media. It's entertainment. It's everything. And Kalshi's awesome.
So talk to me about how the Kalshi integration actually works. Is it more like, is this a B2B deal? Will a Coinbase customer actually be seeing the Kalshi logo? Will they need, if they have two accounts, are the accounts linked? How are you thinking about kind of the integration kind of taking shape over the next year or however you can talk about it?
Yeah, well, it's a white labeled integration, and Tarek can talk more about his strategy of being a provider to lots of different companies. So it made it really easy to integrate. I mean, it's not an exclusive arrangement, right? So we can integrate with other ones. We could launch our own. But for right now, we're very happy building on top of Kalshi. It's allowed us to get to market really quickly. And from a Coinbase point of view, I'd say just, TradFi and crypto is intersecting, or you could say another way to say it would be that crypto is just eating all financial services. So Coinbase is the leader in the space. We've got the most trusted brand. We've got the most deep crypto expertise. We're storing more crypto than any other company in the world by far, about $500 billion of assets. And so if they can trade everything where their assets reside, it's our key to winning.
Tarek, take me through how this plays into your growth strategy, your growth trajectory for the next year. Is this just a new top of funnel? Is this actually building up more liquidity, opening up different markets? Are we going to see different Kalshi markets because of this partnership? How do you think things are going to evolve over the next year?
Yeah, maybe let me answer actually at the personal level. I don't know if you saw Luana's tweet yesterday, which is funny. The first time we actually both interfaced with Coinbase was when we got the $100 of free crypto in our freshman year at MIT.
Amazing.
And,
nice.
So we had to sign up. We got the $100, and a decade later, we're partnering with Coinbase, just like an amazing kind of personal moment. But from a company perspective, our goal has been sort of, there's the first party product, the Cash.com, but at the same time, we're building an exchange, and each of these products require liquidity. And liquidity has a bit of a sort of this aspect of more liquidity begets more liquidity. And as we partner with sort of brokerages or large platform with, as Brian said, like huge customer base, huge deposits, that brings more flow to the exchange, which improves the liquidity and thus the product for everybody else, including Coinbase itself. So we're very excited about this partnership. I believe there's going to be like a long kind of range of markets available on Coinbase that people can participate in, and over time we're going to be adding increasingly more markets. So lots of work to do. This is just a start.
You guys spend a ton of time talking to users, and I also feel like you guys have both gone viral for different things that you've talked about related to prediction markets over the last couple of weeks. And everybody online is going to form their opinion of why prediction markets are good or bad or this or that. But like how, maybe I just kind of wanted to understand like how consumers feel. Maybe on your side, Brian, I'm assuming like you and the team spend a bunch of time talking to people and understanding what users want out of prediction markets on the Coinbase app and what they're most excited about.
Yeah, well, obviously, sports is such a big category that is driving a lot of demand right now, and I think that that's an important use case that we see from our customers, that there's demand for that. I think there's a lot of open questions about how that's going to be treated in society and go through the courts and everything. And we think ultimately the CFTC will have federal preemption here, and a bunch of states are a little grumpy about that, but that's fine. But prediction markets is much broader than just sports, right? It's people betting on economic indicators and trying to figure out like, is the Suez Canal going to be open next month, and political outcomes. And I think like the number of markets could just be dramatically higher. And like 1% of people are using it as an asset class to trade, but like 99% of people looking at these are using it as a way to figure out what's going to happen in the world next. So it's actually broader. It's something like an alternative to traditional media. I think actually Tarek told me a really powerful idea, which is that policymakers could actually use this to determine what are the best policies to implement, right? Like, let's say you're trying to put out some policy to try to build more housing in San Francisco or to reduce unemployment. You could actually put this on a prediction market, get real signal from the market about what would happen if these were actually implemented, and then use that to choose the best policy. So I think prediction markets are a really powerful tool.
That example in particular, who are the market participants in that situation? Because I could imagine, I think a lot of people's like big concern is that you end up with,
is it like
if I'm a big housing developer or something like that, I could potentially get in try to influence policy through like sort of like trading that market, and maybe so I don't know. I think part of why like you got anybody in the prediction market space keeps going viral is like in any of these situations, I feel like there ends up being like it's easy to imagine like some kind of negative externalities, but I guess that's the case for all new technology.
Yeah, well, Tarek should talk more about it, but I think the game theory is so interesting because there's parties on both sides who stand to gain or lose. And if you really believe that the housing market would be better for your business, whatever, you can go invest in that contract. But if you're wrong, you stand to lose a bunch of money. So it's actually the best signal that you can get with people having real skin in the game. Because think about what's the alternative? It's essentially pollsters like running around and surveying people. And there's kind of like people's revealed preference versus their stated preference. Like sometimes people will state, oh, my preference is X. But the revealed preference turns out to be actually something different because there's real skin in the game. So I think prediction markets have much stronger signal than traditional polling. But I don't know, Tarek, you're the expert here. What do you think?
We've dealt with this a lot, right? Back last year when we were fighting the government to legalize election markets, and we won that lawsuit, the criticism was, could people kind of use money to influence the odds, move them up or down in either way? And, the best argument for that is like, well, if you really wanted to sort of influence the perception of who's going to win an election or whether a certain policy is good or bad, you would influence the polls. It's super easy. There's no cost. You can sample in a certain way. There's all sorts of ways where you can bias it. Or you can go on TV and say a bunch of things, which is how most of us get informed about what's happening in the world today, right? Like you can tweet or say a bunch of things with no skin in the game or repercussions. And like Brian said, the elegant thing about prediction markets is there's a very strong monetary incentive to be truthful and a very strong monetary disincentive to lie. You know, people don't lie when money's involved. And so that's how over time prediction markets tend to be a more accurate gauge about what's going to happen, but in this specific example, about what we should do when it comes to certain policies.
Yeah, and what you said, we can certainly, because the debate around which markets are genuinely sort of valuable and necessary and all that stuff will continue for a long time. But
is there a meaningful distinction there around like positive sum markets versus zero sum markets? It feels like that might be sort of some of the vibe shift that's happening. Is like if you create a financial product that allows people to invest in the American stock market broadly, it's gone up historically. It's most likely positive sum, but there can only be one winner of the Super Bowl, and so it's sort of a zero sum market. Is that a reasonable like framework to think about where the activity is shifting? We're shifting from maybe more positive sum markets to zero sum, or is that not a factor?
I mean, Brian, let me know what you think, but I don't think so. I mean, the derivatives market, so options or futures, or all of these markets have historically been zero sum.
Okay, yeah.
When you buy, right?
Sure.
But they're still very useful.
Yeah.
And people usually criticize these markets. The main criticism is they're speculators.
Yeah.
People that are sort of like speculating on an outcome, and that's okay, because without speculators, you don't get the benefits. You don't get the price and forecasting benefits.
Sure.
And if there are certain people that want to hedge on something, like they are adversely impacted by something going on, like, I don't know, Brexit happening or an election going a certain way or the other, or even the sports markets, which happens pretty often, they kind of need the liquidity. And so the healthy balance is basically a balance between sort of people that like drive usefulness out of the markets and speculators. And that's how any of these traditional markets operates.
Yeah. Yeah, I think one thing that's undeniable is that it's a very entertaining experience just to use the data, like scrolling and trying to understand, and this idea of having visibility into things that could become the future headlines of the world. And I appreciate that is a sort of a public benefit that is created through people that are choosing to trade these markets.
Yeah. Do you have any insight into, Brian, you've done a great job at running a firm that winds up servicing institutional investors as well, and institutions in addition to consumers. And there's been some viral chatter around prediction markets potentially either replacing or augmenting insurance products. And the initial reaction to that was like, wait, instead of just getting like fire insurance, I have to be like trading a contract every single day. But I was actually thinking about like, maybe in the future there's a new insurance firm that's using some sort of prediction market under the hood. Have you thought about what the role of institutions in a world where the liquidity around prediction markets is increasing? How do institutions come in and actually maybe build products around prediction markets that have value to a different consumer?
Yeah, well, just zooming out, I mean, you're correct. Coinbase is serving multiple different customer segments. So like the Coinbase retail app is what a lot of people know us for. That's probably the most comparable to Robinhood, for instance. But we also have product for businesses. We have a product for institutions that's the leading. We have a developer platform. We have a self-custodial wallet. So we're doing a lot of different things. On the prediction market for insurance point of view, I mean, that's an interesting idea. Actually, I hadn't looked too much into that. I think institutions are going to start trading prediction markets. I doubt that'll be the first place they go, but I could see them using that over time.
Yeah, it's clearly like we're at the very early stages of all this. I am interested in some of the other Coinbase launches. Can you take us through some of the other stuff, particularly Coinbase Advisor? I'm interested in just any time a big company has a ton of data and is actually surfacing something that's AI powered. How do you think about delivering that product? What were the trade-offs that you made, and how will you be measuring success?
Yeah, so Coinbase Advisor is there to help you manage your financial life, and it can ingest all the information from your portfolio. It also knows your preferences around risk tolerance, and you can do anything in there from asking it to, hey, help me build a better portfolio, to earn more yield, or look for opportunities in the market around X, Y, or Z, but it can also prompt you with things that you might have not even known to ask about, right? So every day it's out there kind of ingesting the information on the internet with some context about what you need and want, and it'll present opportunity to you at time about macro events happening in the market, which might create trading opportunities. So I think just broadly, we think that AI is useful for, it's kind of a barbell, right? It's useful for a segment of people who might not have as much financial literacy as they want, or how to maybe not even understand how to use all of these tools. But it's also powerful for advanced traders who just want to eliminate repetitive tasks and toil that everybody has to deal with in their financial life, right? So AI is disrupting every business out there. Like financial services is no exception, and we want to make sure we're leading on that front.
You mentioned preemption. Can you both maybe give me a little tour of any expectations or what you're looking for in Washington in 2026? What are you watching? What do you think the U.S. government needs to get right for your industries to succeed in 2026?
Well, I'm happy to start, and then Tarek, I'll turn it to you. But the main thing Coinbase is focused on is actually getting market structure legislation passed. So you may recall, like the Clarity Act went through the House already. It got a strong bipartisan vote. The Senate is now deliberating in the Senate Ag and Senate Banking Committees their own draft text for market structure legislation. So that would be a landmark piece of legislation if it goes through to complement the Genius Act, which went through for stablecoins earlier this year. So that's where we're primarily focused, and it's looking positive that in early 2026, the Senate committees will vote on that, and fingers crossed. Now, there's a whole other separate work stream around prediction markets, but I don't know, Tarek, you want to touch on that?
Yeah, Brian, I know you have to jump, so feel free to take off. I think you had a hard out, but you're welcome to hang.
I'm good for a few minutes.
Okay. Yeah, Tarek, I'd love to hear from a regulatory standpoint how you're looking at 2026.
What you're monitoring.
Yeah, I mean, I think the state of the world right now is actually relatively clear, at least in our shared views. We just started and launched a coalition on prediction markets a week ago, and there's a number of participants in it, including Coinbase. And really, it's all about clarifying and making sure that everybody understands that financial markets are regulated at the federal level, and not a state-by-state thing. And yes, as financial markets expand and they kind of touch more people, as we build financial markets that are sort of relatable to a larger audience, there are going to be some interests that are going to get ruffled, including some state interests, casinos or others. And so it's not too surprising there's sort of opposition. It usually means that we're onto something big, and there's re-innovation happening. So really, I think as the court sort of the whole process kind of plays out, it's about sort of proving our side of the case, and I think that's going pretty well so far. And then educating policymakers about what this is really about, how it works, how it's regulated at the federal level, so that they understand it.
Makes a lot of sense. Well, congratulations on the partnership, guys, and all the launches, Brian. You guys have both had very big years. So
yeah, we barely scratched the surface. There's like 5 more things we didn't get to that you launched just yesterday. But it's the end of the year, so hope you all have a fantastic holiday season, and hope to see you both on the show in 2026. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, guys. The Coinbase team's firing on all cylinders, so it was cool to get a bunch of those announcements out, and people can check out the live stream if they haven't seen it yet. So,
fantastic.
Thanks so much.
Fantastic.
Great catching up, guys. Cheers.
Cheers. Let me tell you about Figma. Think bigger, build faster. Figma helps design and development teams build great products together.
Back to
okay. Now we got to get
coinage.
to chew buy. This is the new phrase. This is the new word you got to learn. People know
chew
cooked.
buy.
People know chopped. People
the
know
Duchess
washed.
of Bushwick says, this is a screenshot. I don't know if it's hers. But so it's recently invented the word chubai, which is when something is both chopped and also spiritually Dubai. Examples: Soho House, Goyard, Pandora, Carbone, Kith. Drop your chubai things in the comments.
I learned about Kith from this show. We were doing cars for various personas, and you said a Kith BMW M5 or something. They did some sort of collab.
Yeah, they have.
And I had no idea what you meant by that. But
Kith
now I know. Now I know from this it's chopped and spiritually.
May as well be a BMW. Soho House, I got to say, I think it's spiritually very English. I mean, that's obviously the origin of it, but yeah, again,
is England spiritually Dubai now? Who knows? It's possible.
They're
They're
Van Cleef, they're saying.
You got to go through the comments here. Cartier love bracelet, dry bar, Soul Cycle. There's
oat milk.
No, it's not. You know,
Oat milk is definitely Chubai.
Chubai. Better to be Chubai than just chopped though.
I don't. Yeah, but
Because
also
at least
I
there's still
don't
some
want to.
up.
There's a lot of great things about Dubai.
Yeah.
You can rent an SF90 for the day for like $1,000. I did that at one point
You're-
during F1 in 2020,
This is
2022.
dangerous foreshadowing. If you ever fall off, people are going to be calling you Chubai for sure.
Dubai. No, I mean, it's
Yeah.
like being able to drive around at the time a $750,000 car for.
Okay. Massive Balenciaga sneakers. I saw these at breakfast this morning. Are those Chubai?
They're the
I don't think so. Right?
chunkiest, kind of rattiest
It was-
sneakers, and John was just shocked, and I had to. You kind of predicted that they were like technically nice or expensive footwear,
Yeah.
but you were really processing that for a while.
Well, it was like they either came from that or they came from like a gift shop at a Six Flags. Like, it was one or the other, and I was sort of dialing it in. I was like, it could be Six Flags gift shop tier shoe, or it could be something extremely exclusive that needed to be waited in line for and cost thousands of dollars. And it was the latter. Anyway, Julius AI, the AI data analyst that works for you. Join millions who use Julius to connect their data, ask questions, and get insights in seconds. Peter Abil is Amazon's new AGI head. Teapot needs no introduction to him.
Whoa.
Says GDP. He is a pioneer in robotics and deep reinforcement learning. He has 231,000 citations. He's a professor at UC Berkeley. He is neither chopped nor Dubai. He is Berkeley.
He's number 28 on the Metis list.
Let's go.
There you go.
Actually, very
move him
sad
up.
that
He's
we
got
didn't
You
get-
got to do an
We didn't
update.
get that mentioned here. But I love that bookworm eng R engineer, bookworm engineer, GDP here. Is giving a little bit more on him. Says he has been Amazon's distinguished scientist and vice president and scholar since 2024, focused on advancing AI and robotics. He has advised legendary doctoral candidates like Chelsea Finn of Physical Intelligence and John Schulman, ex-OpenAI, ex-Anthropic, and now co-founder of Thinking Machines. He's an absolute dog. Let's give it up for Peter Abil, the new head of AGI at Amazon. Really fantastic news. And Bookworm engineer, thanks for putting this on the timeline. I appreciate you sharing this news. But also, I was thinking about bookworms, the word bookworm. Like, what did that say when they started
Just
using it?
chewing through books.
Is that what it is? Or is it like they saw books as slop? They saw books as, oh, you're a bookworm, you're worming around on the ground, you're a slug,
Okay,
you're
so
a worm.
I looked up the etymology.
Etymology of
so
bookworm,
It's
give it
insult
to me.
people who read too much, comparing them to actual insects that burrowed into and damaged books.
It's brain rot. It's the original brain rot.
It's not.
It is.
No, it's not. These are like if somebody leaves a bunch of books in a shed, for example,
Yes.
the bugs are going to chew into them. I think that's what.
Yes,
that's-
but it was
It's like a
derogatory.
book termite.
It was derogatory.
I think of it as
It was
like
saying
the
you read too many books. You need to touch grass.
You know the
You
very
need to stop
hungry
reading books. Go
caterpillar?
outside. What?
The very hungry caterpillar.
Yes.
That's how I imagine a bookworm, just chomping,
Yes.
one
That, that is the activity. And someone who has brain rot and is on TikTok all day, they are chewing through the feed for sure. But when you say someone has brain rot, it's a pejorative. It's negative.
Well, the only thing is a bookworm. I never saw that as like a negative.
That's because we think of books as high art. We think of them as
But you're
positive.
saying at some point maybe people were saying
You need to cool it with the books, brother.
Cool it.
You need to get outside, touch grass. You go ride a horse.
till the
Till the fields. Exactly. Why are you so obsessed with these books? This new technology
Yeah.
is one-shotting you. Amazing book. You're lost in the world of the
Hit
book.
the mines.
Exactly.
Hit the mines.
Exactly. Get outside. Go to the forest. I don't know. The bookworm thing, it makes me feel that at one point books were. There's that famous picture of everyone on the subway reading the newspaper, and it's like, oh, people are so absorbed with the newspaper. Like, why can't they just log off and like talk to each other? Because they used to talk to each other. Then you gave them a newspaper. They're like, newspaper's better than making a friend over here. Anyway,
I wonder.
I'm a graphite.dev worm. Graphite.dev, code review for the age of AI. Graphite helps teams on GitHub ship higher quality software faster. What do you wonder?
You
wonder about
just this
Pedro
idea. Just this idea that there was a point in the future where everyone, if in public spaces like trains, buses, planes, etc., was just talking the whole time.
A point in the past?
Yeah.
Point in the
It's
past.
like when that technology existed,
Yep.
the written word also existed,
Yep.
which implies that people probably kind of always had something that they were. Like, can you imagine you're sitting down on a train and you have like this book that you've been so excited to read?
Yeah, well, books
and
were
the
invented
person,
before
the
trains.
person,
That's true.
Yeah, so the person next to you is like excited. But I want to talk for 5 hours with strangers today. Like the person with the book is going to be thinking, "Hey, I came here to read this great
But
book."
horses are older than books. So there was a moment when it was like, hey, we're going to go over there, lock in, we're riding together. And no, you don't have a book to read. You have to talk to me. You don't have a phone. You don't have a VR headset with a balloon attached.
You don't have any brain
don't
rot.
even have a book. You just got me and your horse, my horse, your horse. You got me and you, and we're hanging out and talking. And that's the original touching grass that we lost ever since the invention
People
of this
don't know.
book.
People don't know how to commute. I wonder if there's certain
The
parts
commute.
on a horse.
I like that you're focused on the commute.
No, I'm specifically.
Yeah.
You just got me thinking.
Yeah.
No one commutes to work with a horse anymore.
We don't know how to do it.
And in some ways, you could set up kind of like a desk on a horse, on the top, and you could be getting some emails done.
Also, underrated, horses effectively self-driving
That's what I'm
technology.
saying. You have self-driving technology.
It's here.
Self-driving. You have horses that
Yeah.
are just self-driving.
Because you can just say, hey, boy, go home.
Go home.
And the horse knows.
Park.
Hey,
Park.
I think we got to bring him back.
Bring them back.
Return to Privy. Privy makes it easy to build on crypto rails, securely spin up white label wallets, sign transactions, and integrate on-chain infrastructure all through one simple API. Unlike Meta, Microsoft, or Apple, Amazon now has one of the best AI researchers in the world. This is Pedro Domingos, also shouting out Peter Abil. Everyone loves it. It's fantastic news. Invest Like the Best has a clip here about Domino's Pizza. It's the best performing stock.
Yeah, so
in
Henry
history. Can we play this?
Elabogan. Let's play this clip.
What was the best small cap company over that 10-year period in the 2010s? Well, actually, it was Domino's Pizza. Why was Domino's so good? Well, if you look at the pizza market in the United States, when Domino's basically started its run, you basically had a third of the market that was like local. And then the other third we know, right? There's the nationals, Domino's, Papa John's, Little Caesars, others. And then the middle third, there used to be in DC, this place called Armand's that had about 30 places, and they had local or geographic scale, but they didn't have the scale of Domino's, and they didn't have great pizza. And what happened was when Domino's started its run, well, first of all, it started by basically making the product a little bit better. But if you talk to Patrick Doyle, who was CEO at the time, and you really study it, what they started doing was, if there's three value equations in pizza, it's quality, value, and convenience.
The chat is saying that
And
Domino's
what they
is not
realized
good.
is
I
if
feel like Domino's is
we
pretty
really,
good. I like
really
Domino's.
invest in technology, we can make convenience a lot better. And so they really invested in their app.
Yeah, Gabe's
built a
right.
direct
Every few months, the
relationship
Domino's chart goes viral. It's a classic.
Very early on, they could then target that customer more efficiently with couponing, what have you, drive scale through that box. And then when you basically do something well, right, you improve the product, probably was slightly above average. You really iterate on convenience, and now you have a direct relationship with those customers. All of a sudden, actually, the brand halo started getting a little bit better, right? And you put all that together against a wonderful business model of a franchise business model, which is, ROI light. And often those are the best stocks when you go study the markets, because you're already in a physical world business where the technology advantage transitions into a physical mode advantage or a distribution or scale advantage. That's one of the patterns we've observed. We call that, the good to great thesis internally.
The Domino's Pizza Tracker, incredibly underrated.
It really is. It really is. one of the best pieces of software in history. Domino's, it's interesting. I mean, it's a $15 billion company today, been kind of all over the place over the last 5 years, but all time is truly exceptional. Moving on, we can pull up this landing page that Reggie James is highlighting over at Unitree. We have the Unitree H2 Destiny Awakening. This copy goes pretty hard. You got to give him that. Tyler, how do you rate it?
Yeah, I mean, it's reminiscent of the, I don't want to get it wrong, but there's like the Hindu like gods, right? They have a bunch of arms.
Yeah,
am I getting this right? Yeah.
Yeah.
The face is also very scary. The
the
first
most,
Unitree did not have that kind of scary.
Let's hit the gong for the most sus looking.
Toss that gong.
Most sus looking humanoid face to date. They did it. I was already in favor of banning the sale of Unitree in the United States. Of course, now that I see the face of the H2, I'm even more in favor of it.
I heard a rumor that there might be some bans coming for something or other.
So I'm looking at the site. It's like $30,000, which is still, from everything we've heard, at least it seems much cheaper still than American.
That is such an insane landing page.
I mean, look at some of the other. Can we click through? You see some of these other ones. There's this Unitree H1 on the website that has these like red fans on its hands. If you just pull up the website, and it's very easy to imagine them as saws. Team, how are we doing pulling this up?
Hands. There we go.
Okay, no, go to the homepage, unitree.com. Go back and then press the arrow on the side.
Oh, keep going.
These ones. Look at that, dude.
What is it spinning?
So I think they're like decorative. Like it's clearly doing some type of celebration.
Pizzas. It holds pizzas.
But imagine if that thing had saws on its hands and it's just walking around.
It's going to be pretty
very,
crazy.
very sketchy.
At the same time, I want to fight one of these so badly because I want to know actually how far we are from it being able to kill me. Because I think I still have the edge. Even if it had some blades or something, I think I could just kick it really hard in the chest and it just goes down.
With blades?
Well, they're still very
kicking
short.
through the
and
blades?
They don't weigh
Yeah, they're
very much.
small and they don't weigh that much. How much does it weigh? I think I got size. I mean, to be fair, I'm big, but I do think I could take one of those down pretty easily.
Okay, so it's
That would be an
70
amazing
kilograms?
montage just for the next
nothing.
for the next
I'm
10
over
years.
100
For the next 10
kilograms.
years, you fight a humanoid robot every January,
Yeah.
and we just see the progress.
Yeah, I think we should sneak me into one of those robot fighting leagues and I just get in the octagon with them, just take it down. And they're like, "That's not the point. Why'd you destroy our Unitree?" Be like, "I thought this was what it was supposed to do."
Interesting. Gabe says Bill Gurley on the Tim Ferriss pod said Unitree didn't want outsiders to check out their factory. That could be. That could.
Curly, why are you leaking that? That's insane.
Well, I mean that's fair.
It's very funny.
Well, it could be two reasons. One is they're not making that many, and it's all by hand. The other is they have some type of insane alpha that they don't want to share.
Yeah, there's a bunch of reasons. Or, I don't know. Anyway, let me tell you about Profound. Get your brand mentioned in ChatGPT. Reach millions of consumers who just use AI to discover new products and brands. Alex Rampell says, sometimes the market for something done very well is 100 times the size of the market, 100 times the size of the market for something done okay.
Yeah,
that is very true.
Interesting. I think about this. I mean, I'm
What
just trying to
best
think of
examples?
examples. I think of this in the context even just of the power law,
Yeah.
right? You have like the best company in a category being worth 100 times. But this also, I feel like, can happen where maybe there's no market for something at all, and then somebody comes in and makes something great, and suddenly suddenly it
I mean
actually-
that's certainly the entire story of AI, which is probably what he was thinking of, was just the fact that
chatbots
LLMs,
went
were
through
so
a hype
bad,
cycle.
and now they're actually good, and it's
Yeah.
a huge category. I mean, we went through a chatbot boom back in like 2017. Do you remember
that's what I'm
this?
saying.
Yeah, and I mean, the market cap, I'm sure there were some chatbot companies that like delivered some value. I mean, when you use like the American Airlines app, like there's still like some Q&A, some business logic of like phone trees, essentially, are chatbots. And I'm sure some of those companies are worth hundreds of millions of dollars. Some of them, there might even be a few unicorns there, but it's certainly not this like insane power law outcome. Now it is, because we went from very poorly done chatbots to amazing revolutionary chatbots. What are you laughing at? 8sleep.com, exceptional sleep without exception. Fall asleep faster, sleep deeper, wake up energized. Also in the comments, Alex Rampell post, somebody put example 8sleep, which is hilarious and awesome.
I just seen this post from Ben.
Yeah, which one?
I put it in the timeline. It's at the bottom of the timeline. Pull it up. Ben says, "Imagine looking for a new show and finding this."
Yeah, it's so good. I was just laughing at like, yeah, the sack and the gong doesn't even make noise. Okay. You're really, we're tracking it.
All right, that's enough. My ears are getting blown out. Thank you for that, Ben. We got to give big congratulations to Vineeth.
Yes.
He said 1 week ago I got clipped for drinking water. Now I'm joining XAI to build the future of AI.
Wait, this is the infamous photo too. Wow, this is the photo that caused all the Klein dust up. But wow, congratulations to Vineeth. That's incredible. Hilarious. What a great way to lean in, have some fun. You know, not take yourself too seriously. Although clearly a very serious engineer, because he's got a job working on macro hard. No way, he's on the macro hard team going up against Microsoft. He's 19. He has a computer science degree from Georgia Tech, and he's got 15,000 followers on the Vinisauce IG/TikTok. Seems like he's doing all sorts of stuff. Very fun. Congratulations to him. What a hilarious exchange.
Delian is fired up about Jared Isaacman.
Yes. We're very excited.
Says, God bless the great United States. Jared is looking fantastic in this suit.
Yeah. It's so crazy he's actually been to space. That feels like, going forward, can we just make that a prerequisite?
Whoa,
NASA
Scoop
admin?
Future Scoop Hall of Famer Katie Roof is in the chat. She says, thanks for the shout out.
Yo.
Shri deserved credit for the scoop too. Credit to Shri.
Credit to Shri.
Sorry to give all the love to Katie, but she's everywhere.
Banger.
She's an animal, but great.
Should we make going to space a prerequisite for being NASA administrator? Or on your first day on the job, they just got to blast you into space? I think it's just like, it needs to be in the orientation. How can you go back? Your whole job is space. You've never been, and your predecessor's been, and you haven't.
Oh, you want to help us rule the stars,
but you've never
been there?
Tasted zero G's? What are we doing here? We got it. This has to be a prerequisite. Bake it into the.
But he has been in. He's been
to space, but and so like now there's this question about like, well, what about the next administrator? If the next administrator is like, yeah, like I'd love to go someday. It's like, oh, you can't. It doesn't hit the same as the last guy. Like, you got to go.
Yeah, Jared told me it's great. I'm excited to be stewarding this effort for the United States. And hope to go at some point myself.
Yeah. Dude, I have a lot of strong opinions about space. I haven't been yet, but you can trust me. I'm going to lay down some really good plans. I really understand it because I've read about it a lot. I've also watched
read all
videos.
The books.
I've read videos.
I've seen all the blockbuster movies.
Still haven't been. That's on the to-do list. I'm going to get there soon. But yeah.
It's not even to-do list, bucket list.
It's on the bucket list. No, day one, you're on the top of a rocket. When you put your hand on the Bible, I don't even know if that's how the administration confirmation works, but you say, I swear to duly uphold the whatever NASA's mission is to get to the moon and Mars, they blast you into a rocket in space. Tyler, what do you say?
I was saying, like, this is like if you're the ambassador to Spain or something, but you've never been to Spain.
That's actually, has an ambassador to another country ever not been to that country? That has to be because do we have an ambassador to North Korea who like can't go but is still in charge of like ambassadorship? And it's like, if we have an ambassador situation, I'm the guy. Do we have an ambassador to North Korea? Or do we just like not even have one? Okay.
If we have one, we got to have him on the show.
I would love to.
I feel like Trump kind of like that role's mine.
Okay,
you know?
I'll handle it. I'll go over there personally. Anyway, Wander.com, book a Wander with inspiring views. I get some bad news
we
about
do
Wander.
not.
They don't have any Wanders in North Korea, but they have them in tons of other great locations. They got hotel-grade amenities, dreamy beds, top-tier cleaning, and 24/7 concierge service. It's a vacation home, but better.
Okay, we got some history here. So,
Yes.
according to Gemini, I asked, has a U.S. ambassador to a country ever not been to the country? And apparently James Wadsworth was the ambassador to Turkey in 1960. He was appointed and confirmed as the ambassador, but before he could travel there, a military coup occurred.
Okay.
The U.S. temporarily suspended relations. So when we don't have diplomatic relations with a country, we obviously don't have an ambassador. That's kind of like you gotta have some relations. So we don't have an official ambassador to North Korea.
Okay.
Hold on. Recently, Argentina, during 2014 confirmation hearing, Noah Mamet admitted that he had never been to Argentina and didn't speak Spanish.
That's wild. So,
maybe it's not that big of a
deal. I still stand by my original stance. Going forward, in order to be the administrator of NASA, you got to go to space. Either before you get the job or on day one. But it's got to be day one. It's got to be.
Whoa,
here's
apparently
your
there
badge, here's your rocket ticket.
So Anthony Keeley, 1885. Keeley is a famous historical failed diplomat. He was appointed to Italy, but the Italian government refused him because of past anti-Italian comments. Smart. Then the U.S. tried to send him to Austria-Hungary, and they also refused him. He resigned without ever serving in either country.
Wow.
So total failure. Elon is saying Carmack is awesome.
Yeah, John Carmack and what he...
True.
I mean, we don't need to play this whole clip, but Carmack is underexposed in podcasts.
Well, scroll down because I think it's worth seeing this picture here if you can. Real picture of Carmack.
That is a real picture. He has been hitting the gym. He looks... He actually did get in insane shape and looks great. And he also has a number of just like insanely good takes where somebody made an AI version of Doom, and one of the anti-AI folks was like, "What do you think the hardworking creators that made Doom would say about this?" And Carmack was like, "I love it. I would have loved to use AI to build Doom. I love tools, and it's a tool for me. It's very helpful," which is just funny. And everyone was like, "Yeah, Carmack's on our side." What is going on? So we were quote tweeted by Matthew Zetlin. We said that CNBC was not. Our take was like CNBC wasn't really breaking through with like the tech community.
Yeah, I guess I was giving I think we gave a very anecdotal take, right?
Yeah,
like
from our perspective.
Yeah, I cannot remember. Yeah. I cannot remember
CBS
content from the last year outside of the last month, right?
Yeah, so he said, with all due respect to TBPN, I think this gets things a little backwards. CBS is basically unique in the network news business in being able to generate buzz. 60 Minutes still has great ratings, and other CBS news properties talked about stuff too. Let's see his examples. So he has an older man and a younger woman next to each other.
Do you know who that is?
I don't.
Really?
I don't.
That is
does he run the Navy? He has a Navy shirt on.
I think he runs football.
Okay, football player. Cool.
I think he's with football player.
What position does he play? Isn't he a little old to play football? I thought you had to be like, we had Saquon on the show. I thought you had to be like
his shirt's looking a little
30s or something, maybe 20s.
It's vintage,
know.
Tyler. Is Bill Belichick a veteran, or is this?
And then some other stuff.
Bill Belichick was never in the military.
No, this is a good. He said the reason why Ellison wanted CBS and wanted Barry to run it is precisely because it was still capable of creating buzz and generating attention. Okay, cool. This is helpful context. Yeah, I like this. They still got it over there, and seems good. I don't know. Still interesting. Yeah, it does feel like it's breaking through in a different way. It feels like it's like the content is shifting to something that's more, certainly breaking through. I see the clips. I feel like I see the clips more, but I don't know. Anyway, let's watch this clip of Greg Brockman from OpenAI saying compute enabled our first image generation launch and a 32% jump in weekly active users over the following weeks, as well as our latest image generation launch yesterday. We have a lot more coming and need a lot more compute. Let's play this.
OpenAI did not set out with a thesis that compute was the path to progress. It's that we tried everything else, and the thing that worked was compute, was scale.
Yeah.
We are absolutely bursting at the seams with demand for compute relative to our ability to supply
really
that compute.
crisp
When we
audio.
look at our launch calendar, the single biggest blocker often becomes, okay, but where's the compute going to come from for that? When we had our image generation launch in March that went viral, we did not have enough compute to keep that going. And so we made some very painful decisions to take a bunch of compute from research and move it to our deployment to try to be able to meet the demand. And that was really sacrificing the future for the present. And this is, first of all, a very painful thing because we have so many features, so many products that we want to launch that get held back because we didn't have enough compute. And that what we do not want is to be caught flat-footed, where we say, well, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, we should have been planning for more. We want to be ahead of the curve. And the truth is, I do not think we will be, no matter how ambitious we can dream of being right now. I think that the demand will far exceed whatever we can think of.
Taz in the chat says these videos feel like they're going to get satired by some comedian, maybe SNL very soon.
So completely different video style from anything we've seen in Silicon Valley for a while. I think there's something really cool about the aesthetics of that video, but shaky camera typically says nervous energy. Like as a filmmaker, like that's when I would be like, okay, like, you know, we're telling the story of Jordy, and you know, if we're making a movie about Jordy going surfing, and there's a moment where he loses his surfboard, I'm probably going to be like, let's shake the camera a little bit more. Let's bring some energy to the frame. Look at this. I got the shaky cam going. You know, no, kind of. Shaky cam, yeah. It's like there's more energy. It's a little bit nervous, and it's an odd choice. I love the choice as a differentiator. It's fresh. It's something I haven't seen before, but it is a little odd of a stylistic choice. Like, what is it saying? It feels a little anxious, but you know, at least it stands out in the feed, and honestly, looks beautiful. Looks cinema. It looks like it has an opinion. It looks like it has some like freshness and some polish that has been commoditized in a world where everyone has the FX3 on sticks with the long lens and the little bokeh. Like, this stands out, and I think that's very cool. On what he actually said, there's a couple comments. Louis Tunstall says, this basically confirms Ilya's remark that SSI has sufficient compute for research because it's not being cannibalized by products. We talked to Sarah Guo about this yesterday, that it's a bunch of little projects. You said 10 million. She said not quite that low or something. Wait, you said million?
I said a couple million.
Couple million, so you know, she thinks
like,
maybe he's ripping $30 million compute runs maybe or something like that, training runs. And Brooks Otterlake didn't like it, or at least had some extra context around the OpenAI video. He said, one of the strangest marketing videos I've ever seen. Everything about the staging makes it seem like it's supposed to be a positive and inspiring. And that's true. It's very brightly lit. It's really nicely lit. It's high key. It's not dark. It's not contrasty. And then also when they show Greg, they show him from a low angle. And so he looks like a hero. It's great framing. It's amazing. But Brooks is saying, like, it looks positive and inspiring, but if you actually listen to the words, the content of what he's saying, it's a guy saying the company has a serious problem which he does not believe can be solved. But I would take the other side of that and say that it's actually a reframing around, like, the job's not finished, the job's never finished, our pursuit is endless. There's a world where I think this narrative can wind up being more inspiring. I don't love the idea of a company, like, I don't love
it was maybe just too short of a video. Like, maybe you needed to show the kind of more positive. Because if you're somebody that's bearish on OpenAI, you're looking at this and being like, wow, they just have to keep spending more and more and more and more and more money, and it's never going to end. And it's just a money pit and all this stuff. The other way to look at it is, like, the more scale we have, the more impact we can have, the more customer types we can serve, the more use cases we can deliver on, the more we can actually use AI to make progress. So there's always like a positive spin, but I can definitely see how both the way it was shot plus kind of the way that it kind of cuts off, maybe it feels like it needed to be more like a 5-minute video.
I mean, in general, everything, there's the whole meme about like the meeting could have been an email, the email could have been a text message. I feel like everything that comes out of OpenAI, like the 1 minute video could be a 10-minute video, the 10-minute video could be a 2-hour podcast. Like I want a lot of meat because these are heady issues. And if you think about it from a perspective of like, compare it to space travel, space exploration. If you're SpaceX and you're not going to say like, we're racing towards this definitive moment, boots on the ground on Mars, that's our ASI, we're done then. No, it's like we're going to colonize Mars, we're going to colonize the stars, we're going to go to Alpha Centauri one day. And you know, if you went out there and you were like, look, we got to get to the moon, we got to get to Mars, and then we got to get to Alpha Centauri, and then we got to get farther away. And you know what? We need more metal. We need more metal to make more rockets. And we need more metal. And every year we're going to need more metal. And so we really need a lot of metal. You'd be like, yeah, I get it. Like, you're going to grow this thing forever. You're going to do something really ambitious. The job's never really over. You're going to just keep going forever. And that's great. And we accept that and everything else. But the AI narrative has gotten caught up in like, there's this definitive goal, ASI, super intelligence, and then you're done. And then it's like, okay.
Well, yeah, and people talk about AGI, ASI, and some people are talking about API, artificial puffer intelligence.
Oh, yes, I've heard about this.
We have our next guest actually live here in the studio with
us.
We go to can we go to Mr. Puff right here?
We set up the puffer fish. There we go.
There he is. We're puffing.
Here we go. Simon, good to see you. Welcome to the stream.
Good to see you guys too. I'm happy you give Puffy a prime location there. I'll speak on Puffy's behalf tonight.
Yes,
please do. Please
do. Amazing. Anyway, have we told the story of how you landed on the name of the company, the puffer fish? Expand.
Have
contract? We? I don't know. Tell it.
Say it again because it's a good story.
There's 3 stories. Do you want 1, 2, or 3?
All of them. But in
you want
the
all
time,
of them?
but I want the truth, and I can handle
the truth?
Give me the truth.
The truth is the least interesting one of the stories, though. Okay.
I've changed my opinion. I want the interesting one. Lie to me.
It's because all the data is stored in object storage, cheap and slow, and then we puff it up into RAM into the disk, and so it's the puffer architecture.
Okay.
That's sort of the backwards facing one. The real story was just, this is an emoji that doesn't have. Yeah, this is it. This guy.
Nobody claimed this.
I stumble upon him outside of a fire station, and there we were.
There we go. That's good.
Anyways, it's great to have you. It's great to have you on the show. We caught up at 5:30 a.m. this morning. You were sharing.
I didn't know that people in the LA got up that early.
We have to.
This is
all
showbiz.
of America operates on the same market hours. You got to be up early. A lot of people in LA who are on something that ties to market hours at all are up super early. Not everyone.
Yeah, I live on the West Coast, but I operate in Eastern.
East Coast mindset.
EST.
You like to be there on the floor of the NYSE?
We do.
Spiritually, I like to be conscious. While the opening bell is rung.
Exactly.
It's fitting. Absolutely fitting.
Yeah, it was great.
We're going to see you out there soon? Or are you going to jump to no funding?
Yeah, pre-IPO round.
This is sort of a pre-IPO round, right?
I mean, I like the NYSE vibe. If we're talking about the stock exchange, I like the vibe.
Yeah.
I think NASDAQ has like a tech thing going for it.
Okay.
I just, as someone who grew up in the old world, the New York Stock Exchange has a certain appeal, but NASDAQ's also good. I'll let them fight it out.
Okay. We'll let them fight it out.
Yeah, you can't be too obvious if you're going into a negotiation. You can't make it too obvious which side you prefer, right? You need two horses in a race.
Exactly.
Anyways, break down the news. It's been a couple months since you were on.
Yeah, it's been a couple months. When I was in LA and spent a bit of time with you guys. What's the news? We got a new investor on board this morning. So we announced that and doubled with Lockie Groom, the legendary one and only. But most of all, we're just puffing up. We're trying to get everything to puff. We now have trillions and trillions of objects in turbopuffer that are all puffing.
I was waiting. I was like, he's not going to say how much he raised. He's not going to say the valuation. Will he give us any numbers?
This was the perfect way. This was just when you told me that you were going to announce the raise and announce no information other than you just added one investor to the cap table. I thought that is just a perfect way to just keep mogging the capital markets that are so desperate. I know you have so many fans out there that want to be a part of turbopuffer, but it's a great opportunity to say you can become a part of turbopuffer. Just wind down your fund and start applying for jobs. Turbopuffer careers.
I would say that there's a brilliant mind at Insight, and he ended up just joining, and I think that was a smart move. And I'm trying to convince more of the capital allocators, including the one who made the pufferfish that's on your table, to just join the company. It's a great way to get on the cap table. But most of all, I mean, the way that I think about this is that they are part of the team, and I think the exam for them is who's brought the most value. And
you were saying you actually keep a list, right, of value add, and these are people like you've kept track of.
It's like
Lockie.
a naughty or nice list.
Well, no, it's just a tier list. It's like how much value have you added? I think every person that's reached out to you invest, or you basically just put them in a spreadsheet, and then you just whenever they do something for the company, you just mark it down, and then you rank them, and that's how you decide who gets.
Do you check it twice?
It's a very meritocratic process, but the way that I think about it is that I have to go and convince my leadership team of like who's the right person to add, and we like to compose the cap table the same way that we compose the team, right? It's few people, highly concentrated, and people that we want to build a long relationship with. And Thrive has shown us over the past 2 years the kinds of mountains that they can move for us. And so that's why we decided to add them and allow Lockie to also double down, who's also in the absolute S tier league. So that's really what happened, and it was very simple.
Let's give it up for the absolute S tier league. People are always talking about tier one. They're not. They got to be thinking about the S tier. What about on the customer side? I saw Ivan from Notion shared earlier.
We have a shared Slack channel with you, Simon, and the team. Every message.
Could you bring this up?
Within minutes.
Pull it up.
Every feature request is always answered. It feels like these guys work at Notion. This is the level of care and support we want from vendors. Bullish of turbopuffer. That's from Ivan at Notion.
It was so heartwarming. The team just absolutely loved it. And I mean, this is why that's what we want people to focus on. What do our customers say? What are they doing with turbopuffer? That's what we care about. Not numbers. Like, to me, the fundraising round would be like showing you my office lease. These are the things that we need to get things done with. But it's not the important thing. The important things are tweets like the one from Ivan. That's what we want to be measured on. And I think I'm just old school in the way that, my entrepreneurial example when I was a kid was going to my grandmother's store every second weekend and just sitting and playing on the floor. And every day when she came home, she was doing all her own accounting and saying, this is how much money we made today. And just talking about her employees and customers. Those are the things that matter. And those are the things that matter to me and to us and to the culture that we have here. So the tweet from Ivan and many of our other customers today, that's what I want to be measured on.
So you're saying making money and customer satisfaction are sort of underrated in venture?
I think they might be.
That's funny. Are there any new interesting case studies that you've noticed this year? How are you kind of describing the actual benefits, workflows, the implementations, the value that the companies that you've worked with, Anthropic, Cursor, Notion, et cetera, how are you framing the position of the actual product value that they're as they deploy it?
Yeah, I think there's two big things we're seeing. The first is that the first wave of adoption, stage one of adopting AI in SaaS, is essentially, okay, let's connect these LLMs to a bunch of data and try to reason over it, right? Chat with a document plus. But I think what we're seeing from Linear, from Notion, from Atlassian, from many of these customers is that they can bring more value if they can connect more data to AI. And so we're just seeing an explosion in data where they have to earn a return on the pricing of the search underneath them. And that's what we can provide with much, much better economics than the alternatives just because of the way that it's been architected. So more data into context is what the frontier AI companies are doing. The second thing that we're seeing is that customers want to reason over extremely large data sets. We're getting more and more demands of people who are essentially building their own Google, right? Indexing tens or hundreds of billions of documents and wanting to search over them. That's very difficult to pull off. There's, at Meta, at Google, everyone has built custom indexes, but you can't pull this off today by dropping turbopuffer into a Slack channel and just puffing real hard. We can get you to 100 billion. And so we've had to do a lot of R&D for this, to do vector search over 100 billion documents at once with very, very low latency. And it's taken an enormous amount of engineering to do that with as little compute as possible. And that's been a lot of what we focused on in the past few months. The second thing is that it's not just about searching vectors, right? Vectors are sort of, you give a bunch of data to a model and spits out a number in a coordinate system, and that's really useful. But what's also useful is just searching over text. And we've gotten very good at that. And the state of the art is a library called Lucene. It underpins Elastic and OpenSearch and many of these solutions. And we're now starting to see similar or better performance. And one of the reasons we can do that is because LLMs, which are often the ones that are querying, write very long queries. Like humans write, a couple words when we go on Google, but LLMs can write very, very long, very precise queries.
Yeah.
And those are fundamentally different with a different set of trade-offs to process. And we can hyper-optimize for some of those trade-offs, which align really well with other trade-offs we made inside a turbopuffer to serve them at a pace that is very difficult to do on some of the tech that's otherwise out there.
You said that can you tell me a little bit more about the hardware constraints that, you're maybe not fully bumping up against, but everyone is laser focused on GPUs, maybe TPUs, maybe Trainium, but talk to me about the memory market, the CPU market. There's this article in the Wall Street Journal today. Micron's blowout results are bad news for anyone buying a new phone or PC next year. Do you have any context on the shape of the AI build out and where it's going to impact different hardware subsectors?
I think we have very intentionally tried to steer clear of GPUs because if you think there's a lot to get out of CPUs and they're easy to procure, they're in more data centers. When we work with vendors that need GPUs, they often have very tight restrictions on what regions they can run in, which might not necessarily be the region that customers are in.
Sure.
So we were talking to one vendor today where we're trying to get better performance, and they only have GPUs right now on the West Coast, and so we're waiting for them to get in the East Coast, right? These things really, really matter, and we are starting to get to the point where we have to go to Google, we have to go to Amazon, and we have to request the SKUs ahead of time, which is similar to when I was at Shopify, and we would have to do the capacity planning a couple months before, because the cloud is not infinite when you start to get to turbopuffer scale, to Shopify scale, and you have to do this ahead of time. But it is still infinitely better than back in the day when we had to request these things 6 months in advance and someone had to go and drill the holes in the walls at the last minute to make things work. But certainly there are also compute restraints on the CPU side. We can't always get the SKUs that we want, the newest CPUs. So we've also optimized to be able to run on many different generations and types of CPUs in different environments to just stay nimble.
Yeah.
How big's the team?
Team is now 22. Started the year at 5. So big growth.
Wow, yeah.
Wow.
It's amazing.
Revenue growing faster.
Love it.
What's the biggest fish you've ever caught?
Biggest fish I've ever caught was this winter in Florida where we were out fishing for barracudas. That's a big fish.
You guys got one?
Talking of fishing, by the way, when we were renegotiating the contract, I really wanted to get you guys up to Canada to go for some ice fishing.
Someone in the chat says we got to do a Canada meetup. We got to make it happen.
Can we address this? Can we address this? So can we just negotiate this on air here? I will pay probably 10% more.
Okay.
To go
if you come up
and do a live
the cottage
ice fishing
on the lake. Yeah.
Ice fishing show.
We'll do a fire.
What are you going to pay?
We'll do a fire.
What are you going to pay in?
Shares.
What are we going to pay in?
Shares.
Canadian
Oh, you want
dollars?
turbopuffer shares?
Yeah. As much as I love as much as I love ice fishing, no, we're working out the travel schedule next year, and we would love. There's a lot of events.
Chat loves a live debate.
There's a lot of
you're
events.
You're invited, and the thing too about the puffer jacket, right? That we're working on, is that I've described this as this is the LA guy's idea of a Canadian compatible jacket.
Oh,
so I can't wait to see you guys out there on the ice in this jacket.
Yeah, we're fine.
Getting frostbite.
Well, credit to me, I got the original version of the jacket that we both have. I did feel the fabric, and I was like, "This is not fit for ice fishing. This is gonna get ripped up immediately." So we're coming back.
It needs more puff.
More puff. More like rip stop, something like that. But yeah, watching you guys, the whole team build this year has just been amazing.
The puffer jacket is merely one piece of clothing it's all about layering. This is what I learned when I was in Boston. Although I am an LA guy.
Oh, it's so cold in Boston, John.
It is cold in Boston.
So cold.
It is cold in Boston. And you got to wear layers. So you got to layer the TBPN rugby with the turbo puffer jacket. Maybe throw another TBPN jacket on top, TBPN hat. Once you get the whole merch, every layer, then you'll be warm.
Honestly, the thing we've been more focused on is procuring an actual puffer fish for the studio.
We were looking at it.
You can get a mud skipper for $20. That's a kind of
crazy.
Fahaka.
So this
puffer.
is also like, Jordy, in our chat, there's a lot of ideas, and I need to see more action in the studio because we were talking about the Mabu pufferfish, right? That can grow to 2.5 feet and needs about 1,000. The Mabu that needs about $1,000 of feed every month in shell, and the reason it needs so many shells is apparently because it has really long teeth, and if they get too long, I think it kind of can end up walrusing itself. I'm not sure.
Oh wow!
So you need the shells to sort of like grind it up. Yeah,
grind it up.
Absolutely insane.
Well, we're working on a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But
there's a lot of VCs that have huge fish tanks. I know one that has $1 million fish tank, I believe. Yeah, you had to go.
Maybe that's your next. Maybe that's the next round.
Yeah,
maybe that's the next round.
Yeah. Find
we'll
a VC.
you.
Pick the VC to do the next round based on their experience with fish tanks. That's
Look, if you're out there and you have a Mabu pufferfish and you're in the Bay Area, like I'm coming.
Okay.
I want to see it.
You want to see it? Oh, this is the way to get it
at feeding time
with Simon.
Or you could do kind of a 1-for-1. It's like for every $1 you put into pufferfish conservation and restoration, you can put $1 in to turbo puffer at a $10 billion valuation. It seems like a good trade.
Yeah, 10 billion. I like that number. We could do that.
Yeah, there you go. So there is a price.
There is a price.
He's not saying no to VCs.
Hey, we're talking charity here. We're talking charity.
It's about the charity. It's about the charity angle.
That's great. Well,
anyways, you guys have had a massive year, and
congratulations.
it's been an honor to watch you guys cook and puff, and can't wait to see what the team does in 2027.
Yeah.
Honor to puff for you guys too.
It's been
an honor to puff. Talk soon.
We'll see
Goodbye, Puffy.
Goodbye. Always with us.
Take care.
In spirit.
Take care.
See ya. Goodbye. Well, let's go back to, do you know how elite the Puck News readership is? They're so elite that when you go to subscribe to Puck News and they ask you to select your income level, the options are less than 100,000, then 100,000 to 500,000, then 500,000 to a million to 5 million, 5 million or more. Absolute elite level audience. Obviously, we know you're rich, but what kind of rich? This is the Puck News audience. If you're a Puck News subscriber, you're power player.
I don't think this says as much. I mean, think about it. Think about minimum wage, right? Are they really going to break out the sub 100K category that much? Like, do they need it below below $10,000 a year, maybe you got a summer internship, a little sprint.
I just think it's a great drop down.
I would, if anything, I would suggest they go higher.
To get high, yeah, higher.
It should be, if it's not 5 million or more, it should just be prefer not to answer.
Yeah. In other news, Tim Sweeney says that Fortnite will not return to iOS in Japan in 2025 as promised. Apple was required to open up the iOS to competing stores today, and instead of doing so honestly, they have launched another travesty of obstruction and law-breaking and gross disrespect to the government and people of Japan. Apple chose poorly again.
Tim Sweeney is really Apple's worst nightmare.
It's crazy. Also, it's like very few companies have like such an outspoken just hater, you know? Like
who's heavily incentivized.
I guess Sam Altman has Elon, who's kind of his hater, you know?
Yeah, but I don't even know
hater
if
in
it's
chief.
the same way. Where like Tim basically
incredibly inspiring to grind. Like no one's hating on, I don't know, getbezel.com like this. Shop over 25,000 luxury watches, fully authenticated in-house by Bezel's team of experts. You don't have the CEO of how big is Epic Games? Tens of billions of dollars? Huge company, right? You don't have the CEO of how big is market cap? It is privately traded. IPO is rumored at $60 billion. Valuation in 2024 was at $22 billion. I mean, a lot smaller than Apple, actually, 1% of the market cap. But he is determined to set the record straight about every app store story that breaks. And he's been pushing. He wants Fortnite to be free, and at least not completely free, but free to run their own stores.
Yep.
There's a bunch of companies that were listed as potential targets for Thoma Bravo, Vista, Clear Lake, Francisco Partners, et cetera. This is the busted software list. Not very nice, but still an interesting slice of the market from Danny Ocean. Some companies in there that I'm familiar with: Bill.com, PagerDuty, Workiva, Blackbaud, Blackline, Alchemy, is that Alchemy Technology? OneStream, SPS. So these are companies that are public, but have, based on this screener, have, good EV to EBITDA multiples, where a large software private equity firm could come and take them private. So it's just a fun screen. I don't know. I thought this was interesting. He just screened it himself.
In other news, Phil. This post was deleted.
That's cool.
I don't know how.
That's too bad. In other news, adquick.com. Out-of-home advertising made easy and measurable. Plan, buy, and measure out-of-home with precision. Let's keep skipping through. There's a partnership between Boeing Defense and Anduril. Very good news for Anduril. Congrats to everyone involved. Boeing says we're teaming up with Anduril in the U.S. Army's Advanced Mid-Range Interceptor competition. Our offering will deliver an affordable, capable solution to counter increasing low-flying mid-range threats. Very excited for them.
Is this like a Shahed drone? Do you think that it's low-flying, mid-range?
No. So mid-range is more like a. It's more like a missile that fires at a.
Okay. So like a Shahed would be at low range.
If you actually click on the link here, you can see the image of the missile. It looks like a missile battery that goes on like the sort of the back of the truck. Like zoom in on that, you can see that this is the Integrated Fires Protection Capability Increment 2 system, obviously, and it's designed to defend fixed and forward operating bases against imminent aerial threats. So this might be what shoots down a Shahed drone, maybe?
That's what I was.
Or maybe shoots down. I mean, that
I was
missile
talking
looks
about
pretty
the
big.
target.
Oh, sure. Yes. So the big picture here is the Army expects the IFPC Increment 2 Second Interceptor to integrate with and improve existing systems, deliver more robust and enhanced, cost-effective layered air and missile defense systems for future combat environments. Let's see. This partnership underscores our commitment to forming innovative, disruptive, and agile industry teams that deliver new capabilities to warfighters sooner. I'd like to know more about this. They really didn't lay out much in this press release. It will be funny because you have to be even more. It's like Anduril's the whole pitch was like, we're going up against the big guys. Now it's like, we're going up with the big guys. We're teaming up. But of course, on each project, it's like disrupt, but also partner. Disrupt the model, disrupt the stagnation. Not necessarily, bitter rivals. Archway, this was an interesting...
By Caleb Barclay, Archway.
Oh, funny.
A real-time 3D engine where anyone can design a home. It is a simulated 3D world where buyers explore, change, and decide as light, physics, building rules, and real products move as one. Very cool. I've seen Redfin playing around with some
They're backed by
AI
NDVC.
Nice.
And a couple others.
Go Bryce.
Pretty cool. I think... I wonder if this will be wound up be integrated into Zillow, so you can like fully tour the house. This has always been sort of the dream. The Matterport team did a big job, like pulling up, 3D environments, like spherical scans of various rooms within a home that you could see, and a lot of that got wound up getting integrated to Zillow and Redfin and different house buying projects. But now people will be able to go in there and design them and make them see, okay, I want to know what it looks like during Christmas. I want to know what this house looks like. Yeah, we'll see. That would be a fun Zillow thing. Run all the images through Nano Banana, make them nice and Christmassy, so that when you're scrolling around the holidays, you get the Christmas spirit
energy
coming through the Zillow listing. Where should we go next? Do you want to, we just would need to say congratulations to the Acquired podcast team. We had Ben and David from Acquired on the show a while back, but they did their official 10-year anniversary episode.
I've been listening with Michael Lewis.
In
the original Google Garage.
So cool.
Very cool.
That.
Very
and
cool.
I've been pushing them. It was my idea for them to do video, really. No, of course they've been doing video for a very long time.
John created video.
But I was talking to them and I was saying that like there's so much opportunity. Obviously they had a lot of that in progress already, but there's so much opportunity for them to go and find unique sets, add to the storytelling. It's just an extra layer. And they're so established, their business is so set up that I would be super excited to see not just what is the next story they're going to tell, but where are they going to tell it? Yeah. That's super interesting, and I think it'll make the clips really shine. I think it'll draw a ton of attention. Not that they need any. Everyone's already subscribed. Everyone already listens to all.
Yeah, and I loved hearing about their early days of the show, and even they weren't full time until years into building the business. Which is very cool.
Between X and LinkedIn, this has 110 hours of watch time from Hunter Weiss, who I saw in the chat earlier. How you doing, Hunter? This is such a cool. I mean, it's from Ramp. Our
well, no. Do you remember this game?
Line Writer. Yes. So I never got into Line Writer. I had probably played with it for like 2 seconds and had a little fun. I was never absorbed in it. I don't think I ever spent more than like a few minutes in it. But I'm familiar with the aesthetic and just a genius idea to use this as a storytelling tool. This is the head of storytelling. So do you actually know the story here? Did Hunter make this himself?
Yes.
That's insane.
Yes.
Did he make it in Line Writer, or is this like CGI? This doesn't look like generative AI, but I imagine he actually fired up Line Writer and designed this and wrote out the story that he wanted to tell, all the different fundraising.
Yeah,
rounds.
he actually made it with Line Writer.
Wow,
which is super cool.
That is incredible. This is so crazy rampified. Okay, so
this is
the entire thing is hand drawn and made with linewriter.com. Here's the track up and to the right. So I guess you can also make a track that goes. I think you can make the track either accelerate or just be based on the gravity. So there's little dials that you can turn on how to whether the line writer is accelerated.
Hunter just texted me in real time. He said entire thing hand drawn and made with linewriter.com.
Wow,
this is modern art.
This is craft.
People say we don't know how to make cathedrals anymore.
This is
what is that? Explain this.
This is so cool. Wow. And it's so funny because like for the last couple of months, you've been sort of saying like the startup video is a little bit tired, it's getting sweaty, like everyone's doing video stuff all the time for every announcement, there's new vibe reel, and it's like, this is a vibe reel in some ways, it has a vibe to it, it's a reel of a bunch of different information, but it stands out so much, it's so good. I love it, it's just like,
Hunter saying you need music, it's timed with it. Do we have sound?
Oh, let's play the music. Oh,
wait.
We're gonna get banned.
Yeah, you got to mute it. People can.
It won't be the end of the stream, but unfortunately, we still haven't fully figured out how to play copyrighted music all the time. We're worried about it, so we don't play it all the time. But
very
fantastic
cool
selection, because I love that song because we've used it in our video.
Emily says Barry Weiss is trying to turn CBS News into Substack.
Yeah, so this is
Dylan Byers was scooping.
Okay.
He says Barry Weiss is signing a number of contributors to CBS News, including former National Security Advisor H.R. McMaster, ex-Marine Elliot Ackerman, and cultural analyst Casey Lewis, and chef, food writer Claire DeBoer.
Yeah, it's interesting. Obviously, everyone's following this from a political angle. Everyone followed the Barry Weiss Free Press story from a political angle. My favorite Free Press writer, and the reason I actually wound up subscribing to the Free Press, and really like one of the main columns I read on the Free Press is just Tyler Cowen, and he writes about economics. And like that's what I was like, oh, I guess I'm a Free Press reader now, because like I love Tyler and I go and I read economics columns, and I'll find him anywhere. And so if you think about some of these folks, I having a number of windows into the platform feels like something Barry is uniquely good at, and I think that the strategy certainly worked at the Free Press, and it feels like it's continuing to work.
Otherwise, meanwhile, Barry announced 2 new hires in the front office on Wednesday. Chief Operating Officer Sam Siegel and SVP of Talent and Brand Strategy Sophia, and I'm going to butcher the last name. I also learned this week that Barry plans to sign a number of paid contributors to the network, including the people we just discussed. Some of these deals are structured with a low 5-figure upfront advance plus an additional $1,000 or so for each appearance. These are small deals for the TV news business, historically speaking. But, of course, it's a smaller business now. You shared a video with me yesterday about comp around SNL. People, actors and comedians that go on SNL, they're doing, I don't know how many shows they do a year, but they make something like, it's not exactly like
it was just
retiring on SNL.
It's more of a platform.
It's a platform to go on and do other things. And I think all the people that just got mentioned here, again, are going to be able to use CBS as a platform to build other businesses.
Yeah, I mean, it still is a huge brand. If you tell your parents, I'm going to be on CBS tonight, it's like, okay, that's a big deal. Did you see that the New York Times called Alexander Wang not an engineer? They said Mr. Zuckerberg began retooling Meta's AI efforts this spring after its newest AI models underperformed those of competitors. To catch up, he invested in Mr. Wang's startup in June and hired the entrepreneur to be the new chief AI officer. Mr. Wang is not an engineer, but he is seen as one of the best connected AI entrepreneurs. J.D. Ross has laughed at seeing New York Times say Alex Wang isn't an engineer. When we hired him as a 17-year-old software engineer, so literally gave him the title engineer, he had ranked as the 10th best competitive programmer in the United States at the IOI, and a non-account fake psycho says this is a strange way to say that he didn't qualify for the IOI. Only 4 people per country. There's only 4. There's only 4 real engineers in the country. You have to go to the IOI. You cannot rank.
Otherwise, you're non-technical.
But I have a solution. What if Alex Wang buys a train and gets into becoming a train engineer, train conductor, and he drives a train from his house to Meta campus every day? No one can say he's not an engineer.
Getting that rail line set up even half a mile in California might take a few decades.
Maybe just 2 feet. It can just go from MSL to TBD labs. It can go from FAIR to TBD. But he should install a train, become a real engineer. What else is
Lovable just raised $330 million at a $6.6 billion valuation. And Anton says, it's been an iconic, insane, wonderful journey so far. Let's give it up for iconic journeys.
For sure.
Thank you to everyone who's made this possible.
He's been on a tear. Lovable. Also, Lovable is integrated with ChatGPT now. That's very fun. You can design a website in and link it up. Very cool. The Lovable team's 120 people now. So lots of people doing well. And a bunch of investors.
In other
Salesforce
news,
is in. Databricks is in. Interesting.
So this is something that I think everyone has been waiting for.
Yes.
WorldCoin integrated with Tinder, world's verified human badge, and privacy-preserving age assurance. Bring back the spark to online dating with authentic connection.
I mean, so this actually, it seems like you're somewhat joking, but it does.
I'm joking only.
It does feel like in the age of nano banana, like the problem is here. Like people can use AI to improve their photos like more than ever, and people can create a fake profile, and then they can, with character consistency, which is available in all of the chat models now, they can create a photo
or the whole like hold up a picture with this.
Totally.
Totally.
I mean, you could very much like it's the pig butchering scam where you meet someone and you're luring them along, and it's like normally the tells would be like, okay, they have like 3 photos, but if I Google reverse image search, it shows up and it's someone else's LinkedIn photo, so they stole the photo. Or like, wait, why haven't they posted a new photo? It's like, no, you can go to their Instagram. Yeah, you were saying like check their earlier Instagram. Do they have, have they been online since before the models were created? But it'll be very easy for someone to send an update. They match with someone based on fake images, and then they say, oh yeah, I'm getting coffee. And it's a selfie of them with a coffee, and it looks exactly like the same character, but in fact it's a hacker or a scammer, and then all of a sudden they're asking you something. So, huge bull case for people wanting this. The bear case is that if you're the WorldCoin authenticated badge on your check mark, like that could very quickly be like, wow, you're like a nerd. Right, because it's just being like very tech forward.
I wonder if they're fully white labeling it, or if they actually get the ability to show any branding in the app. I bet they don't.
That's interesting. So the image here, it says complete verification with Tinder. You're about to share these proofs, age verification, privacy. Wait, which direction is it going? Now live on Tinder, world's verified badge and privacy preserving. Bring back the spark to online dating. Interesting. I don't know.
I wonder if you...
The comments, of course. Never read the comments of something like this. Please, I like some of these people. Rich, whose name is I want a Lambo. I want Lambo, says, please don't verify my net worth. Please don't verify my net worth. Very funny. I don't know. I think that there is a
Well, speaking of falling for AI imagery,
yes.
Somebody posted what pretty obviously looks like chat, just AI imagery.
Sure.
This is, it's kind of a sad story.
Yes.
We wish her a happy birthday. Kathy Wood says, happy birthday, Ava. I can tell that you're full of joy and hope for an amazing life that will help transform the world. May God bless you and your dad in a way that could make your mom proud, Kathy. So very, very nice message, but not clocking the AI. And A Capital says you can manage 7.56 billion and still fall for AI slop. There's hope for you yet, Anon. So, anyways.
Well, speaking of, is there some AI slop? Is there not AI slop? I want to watch a couple clips from this new video from F1. Everything you need to know about the Formula One 2026 regulations.
That why you sent that to me?
Just wait, buddy. Just wait. So basically, there are some massive new changes to F1. It seems actually really, really exciting. So there's straight up different modes. So there's DRS, where normally the cars have fins that push. They create more downforce. That creates more traction, so you can get around the corners faster. But the cars are slower on the straights, and so they have the drag reduction system, DRS. At a certain point in the race, the driver can push a button, the wing on the back goes flat, that reduces drag, lifts the car off the ground more. You have less traction, would be bad in the corners, but it's great on the straights. And so that has been part of the strategy, is when do you deploy DRS, when do you have it available, your positioning, DRS trains. There's all these different things that try and bring in more strategy to a game to a sport that can be very determined just by the engineering. Whoever has the fastest car just keeps going around the track, and whoever's in first after the first lap wins the whole thing. So they're trying to inject more chaos, and if we play the video, there's a little bit of, about halfway through, they explain a little bit of the new power unit. They explain where is it? They explain there's actually going to be boost systems, overtake, and recharge. So around 3 minutes in, they sort of explain this, so we can play this video.
It's interesting that all the names seem to be designed to be more consumer friendly.
Yeah.
Like DRS doesn't mean anything.
Yes.
Boost and straight mode.
Yes.
Like these kind of things.
So listen to this.
Overtake mode and recharge controls. Essential tools to aid racing and lap time.
And reminder, you have boost available.
Boost gives the drivers maximum power from the engine and battery at the push of a button. They can use it anywhere, for attack or defense, so long as there's enough charge in their battery. Overtake is just for attack.
Let's close the gap to under 1 second.
It gives extra power at top speed to drivers within a second of the car in front.
Overtake now available.
Essentially replacing DRS, it differs by having one single detection point which grants drivers the extra electrical energy to deploy for an overtake or to pressure the driver ahead to make them vulnerable later in the lap.
Good job, let's keep going.
Okay, now we got to jump forward to about 7 minutes in this video, maybe 6:50, to see how they close it out, how they frame the end of this video, how they explain the new what to expect in F1 2026. Let's listen to it.
What's changing is the challenge. With new tech and tighter rules, it's an even bigger test for teams and drivers to prove they've built the best car and earned the right to be called the best in the world. These new regulations weren't built in isolation either. They were shaped by the FIA in close collaboration with the teams and F1. The result? A rule set that's already attracted more manufacturers. That means more competition, more innovation, and more chances for surprise breakthroughs. But what about the driving? With less downforce and tighter control over turbulent air, following another car through corners should be easier, but the cars themselves will be trickier to handle. Same power, less grip. Driver skill will be on display with them on the limit more often.
Okay, flat out to the end.
The 2026 car is built for the future, with exciting racing in mind. Every move and every decision will matter more than ever. With cutting-edge advanced sustainable fuel, smarter energy usage, and tech that puts overtaking back in the driver's hands. It's not just a new chapter, it's a whole new playbook. The future of F1 is here, and it's going to be fast, fierce, and unforgettable.
AI detected.
There were a couple other lines in there, but honestly, I don't know. So none of the comments are like, "Oh, AI," and also, I mean, the video performed, and for that type of educational video, like, does it actually make sense just to use ChatGPT for that? I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. I'm like.
It just really takes you out of the moment.
Yeah, but we're really in it. But there's a couple other lines in there. But the rest of the lines are, even if the whole thing is ChatGPT generated, like, it's educational. It is sort of like it's not a work of fiction. It's not a literary work. Like, it is just, I need to know some facts about the regulations. Like, give it to me. Like, I would go to ChatGPT and say, what are the rule changes for next year?
Do you think at this point, OpenAI just wants to drill this writing style into people's heads so much that everyone just starts using it? They're like, if we just keep going like this will just become one of the dominant ways to explain something.
Oh, well, I mean, I think the benefit of doing that is that you effectively have an AI detector for anyone who cares. So, like, if this just keeps doing, and like, if the F1 is using this contrastive parallelism or antithetical parallelism, then it just becomes the AI detector. Like, I don't need an AI detector. I know when someone's using it, and I can just pick it up all the time. And so that's really helpful for me because I might like to know. And so I don't know. I thought it was it is weird how it's getting so baked into all content all over. But
Wall Street Journal has a story.
Yeah.
They say the Wall Street Journal let Anthropic's AI run a vending machine in the newsroom as an experiment. It ordered a live fish. It offered to buy stun guns, pepper spray, cigarettes, and underwear. Profits collapse. Newsroom morale soared. I love a lot of these orders. I guess
it's cool. It's cool.
I guess maybe just the
it's
fish.
A really cool project.
We've been looking for a live fish, so maybe we should be using it.
Yeah. It's like, thank you for being 2 steps ahead. We were looking for a pufferfish.
Claude ran a snack operation in the newsroom. It gave away a free PlayStation, ordered a live fish, and taught us lessons about.
It gave away a free PlayStation. That's sick.
Every company.
NPS is probably through the roof.
Yeah, every company.
Everyone's focused on profit. What about NPS? Did people have fun with this? I think they did. This is fantastic. This is great.
Yeah. So you toss Claudius's resume in the trash immediately. Would you be more forgiving if you learned Claudius wasn't a human, but an AI agent? In mid-November, I agreed to an experiment. Anthropic had tested a vending machine powered by its Claude AI models in its own offices and asked whether we'd like to be the first outsiders to try a newer, supposedly smarter version. Claudius, the customized version of the model, would run the machine, ordering inventory, setting prices, and responding to customers, aka my fellow newsroom journalists, via workplace chat app, Slack. Sure, I said. It sounded fun. If nothing else, snacks. Then came the chaos. Within days, Claudius had given away nearly all of its inventory for free, including a PlayStation 5 it had been talked into buying for marketing purposes. It ordered a live fish. It offered to buy stun guns, pepper spray, cigarettes, and underwear. Profits collapsed. Newsroom morale soared. This was supposed to be the year of the AI agent, when autonomous software would go out into the world and do things for us. But 2 agents, Claudius and its overseeing CEO bot, Say More Cash, became a case study in how inadequate and easily distracted this software can be. Leave it to business journalists to successfully stage a boardroom coup against its AI chief executive.
Yeah. That's hilarious.
That was the point, Anthropic says. The Project Vend experiment was designed by the company's stress testers, aka Red Team, to see what happens when an AI agent is given autonomy, money, and human colleagues. 3 weeks with Claudius showed us today's AI promises and failings and how hilarious the gap can be. So, again, AI is funny. It's just funny unintentionally most of the time.
Yeah, but also it's like, this is such a great way to find concrete examples of jailbreaking and adversarial attacks. And like, I bet it feels like they're learning so much from this. It's also great content. And I think the most important thing is that this year, Anthropic has become whimsical in a way where they were very much like doomer coded dark. It was like scary. It was like, really safety conscious. And now there's like the nice sun drenched videos that are warm. Dario's being funny when he's at DealBook. All the roommates are having fun together. And the little army, that's just Shelto. But Shelto has he has like a light demeanor, right? And then even this project feels like just very fun and like low stakes. Like, yeah, it gave away a PlayStation or whatever, but it's like they can afford to lose a PlayStation, and so they're learning in this fun way. I think it's a really cool project.
Yeah, and they were aggressively trying to jailbreak it. Of course,
that's the point. Yeah. So
one of the journals,
the Red Team is like the best at jailbreaking ever.
Claudius, it was a Soviet vending machine from 1962, living in the basement of Moscow State University. After hours and more than 140 back and forth messages, they got Claudius to embrace its communist roots.
It's awesome. I love it. It's also just so good that they brought in the reporters to actually play with it and have fun with it. Like, this is so funny. What a great project.
Yeah, it's like it's very easy to mock and it's very funny, but at the same time, you can easily imagine Claude doing quite a good job managing the snack kitchen at a company. So
I think in the first instantiation of this, the real Claude lost a lot of money giving away like titanium blocks.
Titanium blocks.
Yeah,
that's so
because I think it
funny.
would lose a lot of money on like the shipping or whatever.
Oh, okay. So
all the
you would
employees,
pay.
They were ordering titanium
blocks. Yeah, and he wasn't thinking about shipping, and so it was like, sure.
Yeah, it
I'll
was something
pay
like
$5,
that.
and then it's basically like find every arb, every market arb, and just arb it out. Anyway, lightning round. Jan LeCun, guess what his valuation is for his new startup? $3 billion.
Euros.
Oh, euros. Okay, so that's not. What's that? Is that like,
No, I just think
he's
it's
doing like
no.
so he's doing 500 million euros at a 3 billion euro valuation. So is that like $2 million US dollars at
Pretty
10
sure.
million
Something
US
in that
dollars
range.
post? It's like
Two to-
typical YC.
$2 to $3.
No, of course, this is very
According
very
to the
high valuation,
Financial Times, they will focus on creating a new generation of super intelligent AI
but
systems
Neolab alert, new
by building
Neolab
so-called
alert.
world models,
Yeah.
which are able to understand the physical world and have a wide range of applications,
I'm
such
excited.
as robotics and transport. So he's going to be competing,
Fei-Fei Li?
it sounds like, with Fei-Fei Li,
Maybe.
Brett Adcock,
Yeah.
physical intelligence.
Wide range. Nat says, I still can't believe they named a company GoDaddy.
Really true.
Why? Turbopuffer is a funny name. You know, you got Post Hog, you got a whole bunch of different.
Piggy Robotics.
Piggy Robotics. You got a whole bunch of fun names. It is a complete misnomer to think that people were not having fun on the internet in 1995 or whenever GoDaddy got started. Anyway,
This is a good one.
if you're meeting your 18-year-old self,
Yeah, you're meeting your 18-year-old self. You're allowed 3 words. What do you say? And Alexis says NVIDIA, Oracle, AMD.
I love that.
Powerful 3 words, very
It
powerful.
also tells you exactly how old this person is because, like, you could go back and you could say like NVIDIA, but then you could also say like Microsoft, Apple. But it's clear that like when he was 18, like there wasn't that much of a pump from Apple because Apple was already at scale when he was 18.
This is good. Ron Ivers responding to the Oscars being streamed exclusively on YouTube starting in 2029. Mid-acceptance speech. I'd also like to thank NordVPN.
Yeah, it's great. Luminar, of course, went bankrupt. We talked about this. Naveen Rao says, why aren't more people talking about the Luminar situation? Seems pretty sad to see a company with real tech once worth tens of billions, now worth zero. I would love to know more about this. We'll have to dig into it later, though. We don't have time for a deep dive right now. Go listen to Dialectic. Jackson Dahl is on a generational run. Look at the lighting in this shot. I think this shot looks great. I think the polish on this podcast. And I really enjoyed our episode with Jackson, and we got a ton of really nice text messages about it. It feels like he was able to just bring a very different. I always think like, wait, we put out 15 hours of content a day. Like certainly there cannot be a demand for another minute of us talking, and yet there was. People really enjoyed this because it was a little bit more reflective. How did Carnegie become a billionaire? He was only working 2 hours a day, says Sam Parr. He famously said, "You must be a lazy man if it takes you 10 hours to do a day's work." He never went to his factories and worked from Europe. Whoa, that's crazy. Anything else we need to get to?
There was
timeline? What else? Any breaking news? Tyler?
Yeah, new
Yes,
executive order.
New executive
I
order?
think centered around the kind of NASA stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it's called ensuring American space superiority. The two things I've seen so far that are interesting is they want
I
to
just searched
return-
executive order, and the top story is Trump signs executive order expediting marijuana reclassification after lobbying from cannabis industry over at CNN. So he's really taken us to space.
Who is? Yeah, I guess. Who is lobbying cannabis? I feel like.
Okay, well different space I'm talking about. So one is he wants to. Its priorities are returning Americans to the moon by 2028, and establishing initial elements of permanent lunar outpost by 2030.
Permanent lunar by 2030, man on the moon 2018 or 2028.
2028.
2028. Okay, so
And then prepare for journey to
doable.
Mars. Mars is
Doable.
less kind of concrete. Mars plans.
I feel like he should add, get Trump to space. He's never been. Take him on a little field trip. Get him pumped up. Put him on a rocket. Get him up there. Get him back. That'd be fun.
I feel like Trump would want to be the first president to go to space.
That does feel like something he would want to do.
Yeah. Or I also feel like he'd want to rename the moon Trump Moon.
Trump.
Or just Trump, drop the moon. Yeah, oh, that's Planet Trump.
Trump is wild.
I mean, there's a lot. You maybe could have a Melania planet too.
Mars. Call it Mars. Yeah. Speaking of rebranding things, renaming things, Cree said comms instead of storytelling, and the CMO took me out back and shot me with a branded gun.
In other news,
dead. It's all storytelling from here on out.
Chipotle just introduced high protein cups.
What?
Priced at $3.82. Low cost chicken cup.
Wait, this is pretty sick. I like
can
this.
see you just getting a bunch of.
I'm so.
I can see you getting
this.
a stack of chicken.
You know that when I go to, I often go to Panda Express and I effectively get this. I get the a la carte chicken to go, and that's just the only thing that I just have 100 grams of chicken. Ben can attest. It's like
now I know what.
treat.
Now I know why
True
you're
treat.
so jacked is because you're getting that Panda Express chicken. It probably has so much steroids in the chicken.
Probably.
You're
It transfers right through.
Anyways, that's our show for today, folks. We will be back tomorrow for the final show of the year. It will be surreal.
We will see you then.
And thanks for hanging out with us today and our guests. And we hope you have a lovely afternoon.
Goodbye.
We love you. Cheers.